Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey there, Mario
Hey,
here.
How are you doing, Pags?
Oh, hello.
Good.
So you got the early risers. How's everybody doing?
Funny out in the beach there's this old lady.
So are we doing this as a non-video?
Oh, here we go. Just go ahead and start your video if you'd like.
Didn't want to be the only one. How are you doing, Mike?
Good, Kent. How are you, buddy?
Good. It's been a while.
I know. A couple minutes at least.
At least.
How are things in Edmonton?
They are well. Everything's very, very busy.
Yep. Well, I hear that.
Yep. So, and how are you doing out there?
Doing good. A little gray, a little rainy
Excellent.
out here today, but not so
Oh,
not
okay.
so bad. Just going to send a couple people the link. Having a hard time finding it.
Yep.
No worries.
Yeah, we had to do a little searching ourselves.
Well, it's supposed to show up in the Facebook event, but I don't actually see it there. So I'll put it in there again. Boom.
Yeah, found your lineup, no problem, but no link.
I'm going to edit that event because that link is supposed to be in there. Oh, you know what? It may not show that link or the ability to join until it officially starts. So I'm going to back the start time up to 2:30. Oh, I can't now.
Because you've created it already. Yeah.
Let's see if that works. Yeah, I think that's working now.
Myke, what's up, man?
Fernando, how you doing, buddy?
Good, sir. Just gonna finish getting set up over here, but dialing in now.
All right. So everybody, just by default, you're going to be muted and your camera turned off while we're in the presentations. Just to keep everything under control, we'll be muting everyone. But for right now, please feel free, turn your mics on, turn your cameras on. Let's see y'all.
Oh, this is a very heavy weekend. Friday night, we had an international whiskey tasting with Dolph from Ames.
Oh, yes.
Last night, we did the Irish whiskey. That was 12 samples, 12 3/4 ounce samples.
That's it?
Oh, just, yeah, just 12, right? And it's like, oh my God, 1 o'clock. I don't know if I can handle it.
Well,
Of course, because it's always a 3 a.m. night after, 12 whiskeys on the table.
I'll get you a new liver tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah.
Just gonna start pouring out my samples here. Usually I like to have everything poured earlier, but I have a 4-year-old, so there's that.
I can say hello. Hi, guys.
Hey, good evening, Billy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. It is definitely a very wet and cold evening here tonight.
Oh, so it's just a Scottish evening then.
Yeah.
Typical, yes, typical evening.
And where do we find you this evening, Billy?
Well, I'm at home this evening, which is about, my home is midway between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Okay.
And the universities
And it's just a little cold and cheery tonight, huh?
How the fuck does this thing work?
So Billy, is it
So used to Zoom
what,
now.
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock your time?
8 o'clock, coming up to 8 o'clock.
Because we want the guy who's talking.
Well, we do appreciate you joining us tonight. We look forward to chatting a little bit more about GlenAllachie and the history and your plans. And of course, we've got some lovely whiskeys to go through.
So what
as well.
it does, I can put it on the gallery right now. But when Billy Walker starts to talk, they will.
Guys, mute your mics while you're not talking, if you don't mind. Hi, Billy.
Hi there, guys.
How are you?
Hey, Russell.
For joining us.
I'm fine.
Russell, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
that they make good law in these two cases. And the universities are trying.
Hello, everyone.
Part of it is
Well, Mike,
they
hopefully COVID gets over soon. We'll do a bottle pop on this.
Ooh, nice little cask strength. Well, my little pregame
Batch one.
tonight is going to be this
Oh,
one.
nice.
Billy, I'm sure you're familiar with this.
Yes, I am.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear
Yeah,
me?
we sure can. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
What's up, man?
We got a lot of time zones on this one today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Exciting one.
Those West
Kind of
Coasters,
circling
it's
the
still
globe
morning.
right now.
Going through the court, their initial attempt to get from the court failed, and I was going to go to a hearing. So, so step one is keep our or keep our some exception to what the some court is sympathetic.
Okay. Really? Yeah. I'll see you. Thanks a lot, John.
Billy, the nose on this Moscatel is just fantastic. It's got so much fruit going on. It really,
Yes.
really surprised me that much depth, width, and breadth would be out of an 11-year-old whiskey. It's just lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, send him downstairs.
You get a lot of people tonight.
Yes,
Myke.
we have. So far, we're at 37. Russ, how many kits went out?
Well, between our group and Nando's group, I think it's well over 100.
So yeah, over 100 kits. So it's going to be a good-sized group.
Mike, can you mute everybody? Because I think there's
Very difficult to choreograph.
Hola.
Yeah, with this many people, you should probably get everybody to mute themselves until they're
Yeah,
talking.
probably.
Getting all kinds of feedback
Yeah,
from
so I'll
somebody.
mute everyone because I have that power, and then we can unmute whoever needs to speak.
Hi, John.
Are we still alive?
Yep, you're unmuted, Billy. I am as well. I'll unmute Russ.
You know, Myke, I am the ultimate Luddite when it comes to this kind of IT stuff. It's a miracle that this is actually happening tonight, and it's all been down to my good friend and colleague, Mr. John Watt, who came and made sure that everything was okay.
Well, we'll have to thank John. He's done well. You're with us. We're glad for that. So have you got a dram of choice this evening, Billy?
I think if I was going to, I have actually, and it's the one that one of the ones that's going to feature here, which is the 10-year-old cask strength that you're showcasing tonight.
Yeah, I think we've got batch 5 of that.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be my first experience with the 10 cask strength, so I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm just looking at the various colors of the samples that we've got, and it's very interesting. The Rioja and the Grattamacco. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Just a
Yes, you're saying it right.
pinkish hue.
Yeah.
And then we get into the those sherry single casks. Oh,
Rich
beautiful.
mahogany.
And then this is that mystery sample that I'm very excited about. This is that 26-year-old single cask.
This one, Miles, will be an independent bottler.
Yes, Merlin's Mystery.
Okay.
We're going to be ending the night on that, Billy. Yeah. We won't take up too much of your time. We'll do the first 5 with you, or as long as it takes. You know, you just
okay.
All right, Myke, what do you figure?
Well, we've got 60 participants online, and people are certainly going to continue to be joining us this evening. But it is 3:02 Eastern time, so let's get things kicked off. As we know, Billy is in a number of time zones ahead of us. It's getting into the evening for him. So again, thank you, Billy, for joining us. We do appreciate you taking the time to chat a little bit about GlenAllachie. So just in case anybody joining us tonight is unfamiliar with Billy, almost 50 years in the industry, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 1972? You started in the industry at Hiram Walker.
Yeah, that's correct. With Hiram Walker, yes. Great time.
I can only imagine. So that was, you were on Ballantyne's at that point, yeah? Yeah.
Ballantyne's, yeah.
So just going through the history, 1976, Inverhouse Distilleries as a master blender. 1983 on to Burns Stewart as a master blender and operations director. 1988. So this was an interesting time with the management buyout. And then on to the acquisition and rejuvenation of Deanston and Tobermory. So it's kind of the move from management into ownership then, yeah?
Yeah, you know, but it never quite felt like that. It was almost all of these things were seamless, and in many ways, I was having a conversation tonight with my colleague John Watt, and outside of working with Ballantyne's the Hiram Walker Group, which was a big international group. I've always been involved with companies where management was always light touch, that the people that you either employed or colleagues that you were working with were people that you enabled and empowered. The actual management brief was only ever light touch. People were talented, they were gifted to be doing the jobs they were doing. You never really had to manage them, and that, frankly, is still the case. I mean, the team we have now at GlenAllachie is we have a lot of people who are in the team because of their gifts, of course, but also because they are talented people who know what to do, and they don't need to be managed forward in a formal management way. And that's kind of the life I have lived through all of these experiences.
Yeah, I guess having good and talented people around makes things quite a lot simpler, doesn't it?
It makes it so much easier that when you can, in fact, when you can empower people and know they will do exactly what you want them to do, or indeed bring additional things to the party, and that's great news. And but it's a great industry. The whiskey industry is a fantastic industry, and the period that I have lived through has been I suspect, one of the most interesting periods in terms of how the category has grown, and indeed how different sectors of the category have flourished. And it's quite interesting to see the role that single malt is playing now in terms of the kind of percentage that it's occupying of the total whiskey sector. So, you know, these are indeed exciting times. The world is an exciting place, and you know, markets are appearing from almost nowhere and everywhere. The world is becoming smaller. Disposable income throughout the world in most places.
Sorry about that. Just needed to mute. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And you brought up something interesting about like how the whiskey industry has been changing. So when you started at Hiram Walker, 1972, the whiskey world was very much about blends at that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, the whiskey world was totally about not totally about blends, but it was principally about blends. And indeed, the single malt footprint was occupied essentially by Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, Glenmorangie, and lurking in the background, and only lurking in the background because Macallan was still privately owned and being run by a guy called Willie Phillips, who was a good friend, and indeed he was a few years ahead of me at Glasgow University. So Willie and I kind of knew each other, but the single malt sector was a very, very small part, and it was, as I say, dominated by 3 or 4 companies. And one of these, frankly, was not Diageo. Diageo were really not in that market at the time, or certainly not in it in a way that perhaps their presence in the overall whiskey market would have suggested that they should be.
Very interesting. Because Diageo, I guess, was what, DCL back then.
Diageo were still DCL,
awesome.
Yeah. And indeed a company wherein all of the brands were competing with each other, which was, I suspect, a much more interesting time for that company than it is today.
Very interesting indeed. Well, I'm going to go back to some questions about blends. Specifically, I'd like to ask you about McNair's and white heather and see if there's any plans for that. But we have a lovely range of whiskeys in front of us here. And I'm going to ask Myke Brisebois to unmute himself and join us. He's going to be presenting the GlenAllachie 11-year-old Grattamacco from the wine series. I'm excited to try this one.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, Billy, a pleasure to meet you. It's an honor. When Myke and the team reached out to me, New.Whiskyorder, to present this one, I said yes before they even asked the questions. So for sure, an awesome time to dive into some GlenAllachie. For me, I'm part of the Whiskey Explorer Society here in Canada, and I was previously a brand ambassador for Distill with Bunnahabhain and Kingston and Tobermory. So it's been a great fun, and I know with your tenure having a touch on with Tobermory and Kingston, I got to say I'm a little nervous with you here. I don't get that quite often.
Don't feel nervous.
So yes, I'm presenting the GlenAllachie 11-year Grattamacco wine series, and I spent a little bit of time with it, and it's sure one that you can geek out on because it really gives you a lot of different aromas and flavors. Not what I expected at all, especially from this. And I never had this type of wine before. But when I look at the color, I get like peaches, like a peach tone to it. And when I nose it, I have a big sweet tooth. And for me, I get those candy peach slices getting on the nose of this one and the taste. Thoroughly something truly amazing, especially 9 years in ex-bourbon casks and then almost 2 years in the Grattamacco wine. And what's interesting about the wine, it's considered a really popular wine in the area, especially with getting more deeper fruit notes. But for me, I get a lot of lighter fruit notes on the nose and the taste profile as well. Bottled at 48%, unchill filtered, natural color. And this whiskey, I think it's perfect for like a whiskey geek because you can nose this for so long and always get something more and more out of it. It's truly a phenomenal whiskey. A question I have for you is, what got you to choose a Grattamacco? I can't even pronounce it half the time. Is a Grattamacco wine cask?
No, that's a really good question. And first of all, it's quite difficult to get the kind of wine casks that we aspire to get. The Grattamacco is from the Tuscany area, and it was, I suppose it was by accident we came upon the winemaker, had a discussion, and he was enthused about doing this exercise as we were to bring him on board. But historically, from my own experience, blending experience, I had never actually worked with Grattamacco, but I had worked with Tuscan wines, so I was comfortable and confident that this particularly high-end wine would deliver the kind of flavour extensions we were looking for in moving the personality of the whiskey from its kind of in-house DNA to add on the additional wine features. But we also recognise that for these wine casks, you really need to be seasoning the whiskey for at least 2.5 years. The wine casks typically are not casks that you can overcook in terms of the getting the flavour balance right. But you can have them in the wine cask for 2, 3, 4, 5 years without actually getting too concerned about where the journey might end. But in the process of following the development of this wine, we will look at the development probably every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. It's really important that we capture the seasoning of this experience at the sweet spot. We don't want it to go too far, and we don't want to undercook it. And that's kind of the challenge with these kind of, with all finishes, but in particular with the wine finishes. And I think we probably have got this one just about right. And you're kind of taken on both the organoleptic and the nosing experience are absolutely spot on. The kind of base personality of GlenAllachie, you're going to see honey, butterscotch, vanilla notes, even maybe sometimes a little hint of menthol. And then you're going to overlay that with the wine experience, which is going to deliver, as you've rightly recognised, it's going to give you peaches, it's going to give you apricots, and it's probably going to give you red berries. And somewhere in, it's just somewhere there, you'll be picking up some almonds and maybe even orange peel on the finish.
Mm-hmm. What I love about it, exactly that. I love those fruit notes that really come out because they stay in your gums. They don't go away. The finish just keeps on going. And for me, I think it's probably the best whiskey to start off with today because of that lighter fruit essence. It's not overpowering. Even at 48%, it's truly a great tasting whiskey. For me, it'd probably be a great summer whiskey in that essence with the lighter fruit notes. But I think you nailed this one, Billy. Truly a phenomenal expression. And by luck, I'm happy you were able to stumble upon these casks.
Yeah, we're happy. And you know, we also recognize in all of these releases that we bring to the market that we want it to be at a strength that's going to be relatively stable for the product because it's non-chill filtered. It's really important that you don't drop the strength too low, which would then allow some of the kind of higher molecular weight components to drop out of solution. We think probably 46, 48% is the right strength to keep the stability of the product.
Mm-hmm. No, it's truly a beauty. I was truly excited when I heard the news when you and your group purchased the GlenAllachie distillery. Due to the fact that I never really tried many of the whiskeys on their own, due to the fact they're mostly used for blends. I remember trying a Chivas Brothers 2005 cask editions, and I was like, wow, why don't they release more of this? And then now we're spoiled with so many amazing whiskeys. So the whiskey community is excited for this. We stay excited every time we see a new expression. So we can't wait for what's next because I know you have about 50,000 casks in the warehouses. So we can't wait to see what's to come.
Well, there's a lot of interesting things in the line.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Billy, and thank you, New.Whiskyorder, for letting me present this one tonight or this afternoon.
Well, you presented it very well.
Thank you, Myke. That was great. Yeah, this is just a lovely whiskey. I find the mention of peach. I'm getting fuzzy peach, the candies from this whiskey, which is not something I generally get from a whiskey. So very nice and a great way to start things off, for sure. All right, so the next whiskey on our tasting order here is another from the wine series. This is the 13-year-old Rioja cask. This one is going to be presented by our friend Eddie. Eddie, you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Myke. I just want to say thank you to the New.Whiskyorder team for asking me to do another presentation with them. It is an honor. It is an honor to be presenting alongside Billy Walker and all these amazing presenters with us today. I mean, we had an amazing startup. That first whiskey I'm like speechless, man. I've tried the Rioja cask already a few weeks ago, and I thought it was fantastic, but trying the first one, I'm like, damn, you know, and I know we have plenty more amazing whiskeys to go. Again, this is a big honor to be alongside you guys and be presenting next to Mr. Billy Walker. Thank you very much. So this GlenAllachie is a 13-year-old, aged for 11 years old in ex-bourbon casks, and then finished in 2 years in a Rioja Spanish oak wine casks. It is at 48% alcohol, 7,680 bottles, and it's an amazing whiskey. There's a lot of depth in this whiskey. I definitely taste a lot of the wine, a lot of the honey and the grape, the fruit, almost a little bitterness of the wine as well, orange hints and pepper.
You know that you're capturing this very well, Eddie. The cask were, of course, Rioja cask, and more specifically Tempranillo Rioja. In my opinion, it's a little bit lighter than the Grattamacco. But also interestingly, with the Grattamacco casks, these casks were French oak, and with the Rioja casks, these casks are Spanish oak. And in truth, the French oak should in fact give a little bit more tannin to the Grattamacco, whereas the Spanish oak is a little bit lighter in terms of the tannin influence in the contribution from the wine casks. But what you're picking up is absolutely correct. And looking at the color, beautiful golden blend color.
It's definitely a beautiful, like rose gold almost, or a honey color into it. It's almost like a rosé.
Call it golden blush.
Golden blush, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, being the oldest whiskey out of the wine cask series, it's extremely very well balanced between the sweetness and having that little bit of bitterness of the Spanish oak. It has that extreme balance into it. Wow. I just want to say wow. I mean, I'm not sure what's the next drams are going to bring us, but the first two has been amazing. Just amazing.
I think the first two, this one, you know, some of the characteristics you're pulling out there, absolutely correct. You're going to get the basic GlenAllachie personality in the background. So you're going to have heather honey, you're going to have orange peel, a little bit, maybe even a little bit of grapefruit and a hint of menthol. That's kind of in there as the basics. And you're overlaying that with the kind of sultanas, red berries, almonds.
Yeah, definitely tastes a little bit of nut. And now you said that, I taste the grapefruit 100%. You know, I was trying to put my finger on what that note was, and it's 100% grapefruit now that you said that.
And it's quite interesting because it is a characteristic that features in a lot of single malts. And it's important because it gives you a nice balance between the kind of sweet and the less sweet.
Extremely balanced whiskey, yeah. And the finish is very long, has dry, it's very long lasting. It's very, like, at the very end, you taste a lot of sweetness. You're going back to the honey and the caramel at the very end. It's extremely, wow, like buttery as well. Now I'm thinking, like, I'm tasting more. It's like creamy, buttery end that I'm tasting more and more on my tongue. It's just absolutely outstanding.
But you guys are lucky. You're tasting at the right time of the day. The evening is not a good time to taste.
Yeah, I'm actually in Florida. I'm actually on vacation. I'm not even home right now. And I'm like doing a little mischief sitting area outside in the resort, trying this amazing whiskey. So I'm lucky to have this beautiful weather and drinking amazing whiskey with you guys.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to have you, Eddie.
Thank you very much, Russell. It's an honor, man.
Well, I wanna extend a thanks to all the guys from guys and gals from execs as well. Ando, you're the man. If you want to chime in here, welcome your group.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Russ. Damn, we got Billy Walker on. That's amazing. Billy, thank you. Appreciate you being on. I know this is an honor for all of us, so appreciate it. For those of you that don't know us, I mean, I think most of us kind of know each other by now, just being in the whiskey scene for so long, but we're out of SoCal, and but we've got members all over the country, all over the USA, I should say. So just glad to be here, and I know Russ did a lot of work on this, and so did I, but you know, we're super excited to have everyone, and can't wait to get through this lineup. So again, Billy, just appreciate you being here. This is amazing.
We love your enthusiasm.
Yeah, we've pretty much got North America covered here tonight, don't we?
Yeah. I'll have to work on getting Mexico next time.
Yeah, I think we got all time zones
So
represented today.
Yes. Eddie, you're all done there, my friend? You have anything else for Billy?
No, sir. Amazing whiskey. Again, it was an honor being alongside you guys and being presenting next to Mr. Billy Walker and speaking to Mr. Billy Walker. Just amazing whiskey. Amazing night.
You know, as much as having Billy online is fantastic, I think that it's just equally as great to bring everybody from across the countries together. You know,
Absolutely.
and I think that's really what it's all about. That's what our group stands for, and Nando's group, and just having Billy involved with this is fantastic. You know, just the icing on the cake. So, I guess our next presenter is Bill Gorham from the Kingston. He was having some technical issues, but
I still am, Russell.
you still are. So maybe
Yeah,
Billy
I'm
can
actually
help us
using my
walk
phone
through
to
this.
connect. I can see all the text going on my computer, but it's not connecting audio or video.
Well, we
I
can
hope
Okay,
you
you know
guys
what
can
we're
hear
gonna
me
do,
okay.
Bill? You know what we'll do is I out of all the whiskeys, I think that this is the one that Billy Walker could help walk us through. It's the one he's drinking right now.
Yeah,
Cask
this is a
Strength.
fantastic whiskey.
Oh, he's gonna pour another one for us. Little bottle fill.
Are we talking the 10-year-old
sure
cask
are.
strength, that 5?
That's right. That's what we're on right now.
Yeah, that is a wonderful thing. I'm very glad that I got a chance to present this, but it's a little intimidating to be able to present it to Billy. This is a fantastic whiskey. You know, obviously based on following the batch 4, winning its World Whiskey Award there. Went off the shelves really quick. This one's gone off the shelves fantastically fast, unfortunately. However, we did get a chance to try it. We have it today, which is fantastic. It is a 10-year-old. Billy has managed to choose the perfect wood to cask this in. The flavors are so wonderful, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown in terms of my breakdown on the whiskey, if that's okay, Billy. I find the color such a beautiful dark mahogany. The nose, at a wonderful 55.9% ABV, it certainly does not burn on the nose. It is absolutely delicious. And I could just sniff this all day. It is so wonderful. Sherry, you can get all those kind of the notes of sherry, dark, sweet, dried fruits, high degree of raisins, dates, chocolate. There's so many flavors in this whiskey from the wood that it's casked in. You know, the Pedro Jimenez, the Oloroso sherry puncheons, as well as the Rioja not puncheons, but Brie casks. That's, I guess, where all that wonderful color comes from. But it is also where that wonderful nose comes from, too. And it is just delicious. Now, when you taste it, you can taste it so beautifully. It's so thick and juicy. I don't know what you put in this, but it's liquid gold. Beautiful flavor, spicy pepper, cinnamon, cloves, with a little bit of mint flavoring, I guess. But it just sort of sits on the tongue so nicely.
Listen,
Sweet
Bill.
dates, brown sugar, I can get a little bit of that as well. And maybe a little bit of coffee. Maybe it's because I had a coffee earlier today that I still have the taste in my mouth. But man, it is really, really nice. For being a 10-year-old, I find it very, very smooth. I'm sure you stuck some older whiskey in there to sort of smooth it out. It's got to be at least something like an 18-year-old in there. It's that caramelly on the flavor. The finish itself, I find it so beautiful, warm, long, with notes of that nutmeg and mint. But all in all, this is a fantastic dram. Unfortunately, I guess we can't get any more of this.
Bill, you're on the money. You've covered off this beautifully. And the plan was the plan is always to deliver the product that you have in mind to make. And the cask went into this and a mix of PX and Oloroso Puncheons. There are some American virgin oak casks, and there are one or two wine casks going in as well. So we're trying to capture the whole ensemble of flavors that in our minds we were planning to include in this release. And yeah, you've covered them off beautifully. And on the nose, you are getting, obviously you've got the characteristic and signature flavour of heather, honey, vanilla, and butterscotch. Dark chocolate is definitely, and you mentioned some coffee. There is mocha in there. I'm picking up notes of almonds, there's dates and figs. But on the back, there is definitely some cinnamon and orange peel.
So I could snip this all day. It is fantastic.
And on the palate, I mean, in terms of flavor complexity, this is definitely a level up. And I don't mean necessarily in terms of quality, but in terms of complexity, it's a level up from the wine finishes, and you're getting all the complexities that you would expect to get from the sherry casks. You're getting dark chocolate, treacle, and raisins. Almonds, orange peel.
So, Billy, I got a question for you. Absolutely have loved your number 10s all the way back to batch 1. What made you the market seems to want to reproduce a 10-year-old after 10-year-old to taste the same, but yours are distinctly different from batch to batch. What made you go down that route instead of trying to blend it into something that's similar throughout?
You know, that's probably the most interesting question you could ask me tonight. When we acquired GlenAllachie was virtually unknown. It was a blank sheet. There was almost no releases in any kind of volume to the market locally or internationally. So we didn't have the burden the burden of trying to protect a legacy brand. We had a blank sheet of paper that we could design wherever we wanted to take this journey. And with the 10-year-old, we celebrate the differences that each of these batches are going to bring. Now, eventually, and I can tell you when batch 6 is already out and bottled, in my opinion, batch 6 is probably the best of the cask strength releases. But you would probably say, I would say that anyway. But we are getting more time. We've had more time to formulate our thinking, and indeed, as a blender, to play around with the casks and get more history as to how the various casks interact with each other. So we're getting into a better and better position all the time in understanding how this particular spirit is reacting with the various casks. The formula for the cask strength remains pretty much the same for each of them, but perhaps the experience and the time in each of these different casks is slightly different. So I think you will see that the batch 6 will certainly attract your interest. And I'm in the process of formulating batch 7, which we will bottle sometime in quarter 1 or quarter 2, or maybe quarter 3 of next year. And on Monday, Tuesday of next week, I'm going to prepare the pilot for that. And I will be very disappointed if that, in fact, isn't even better than batch 6. But that's the world of the blender.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am not trapped by having to be constantly repeating the same thing. The journey is always about improving. And if diversity means improvement, I'm comfortable with that.
Hey, Billy, I have a question for you. I'm very interested. Oftentimes we hear, the influence of the wine barrels and what that gives to the whiskey and what that means. Can you talk a little bit about how the environment where they're aged, how that contributes to some of the tasting notes?
I can give you an opinion, Mark. Look, unquestionably, both the microclimate and the microclimate play an important part in the whole process of maturation. It's difficult to quantify how much it plays, but unquestionably, it does play a very important part. And if you are lucky enough or successful enough to have a warehouse where the warehouse is full, the casks have been in the warehouse for a significantly long period of time, and where the actual equilibrium, the atmospheric equilibrium in the warehouse is virtually constant, then it's quite interesting to see what differences you might achieve within the various locations in the warehouse. But the truth is that you could have two identical casks sitting beside each other in the warehouse in exactly the same kind of environment, and yet they can turn out really quite differently. So there's more going on, and a lot of it is to do with the pore size in the wood, how much the spirit can penetrate the wood, and originally how much toasting has gone on in the process of making the cask, how much in the process of toasting you caramelize the long chain hydrocarbons, you turn them down into sugars and caramel. There's so many things going on, but you cannot rule out the fact that the macroclimate and the microclimate definitely play a role. It's just that I'm not clever enough to understand how much.
No, and thank you for that. I think, the depth of how much people have really gotten into actually locations in warehouses. Well, this came from a certain shelf, or this came from the northern part versus the southern part. There's a lot of subtlety to that, and as you stated, it's very intricate and it's very hard to predict. So thank you for that answer. I appreciate your opinion.
One final thought on that, Mark. We have the advantage where our climate is not so extreme in terms of the difference. I mean, we don't really have a summer in Scotland, so we kind of move seamlessly from spring into autumn and into winter. So we don't have the kind of overcooking in very, very hot climate, which can happen in the States, and some of the States, certainly can happen in places like Taiwan and India. We don't have that dimension to have to factor into what we're trying to do. But it's still true that the warehouse environment and the general climate will play a role. There's no question about that.
All right, that's fantastic. And with having worked in and owned so many different distilleries in different areas of Scotland, I imagine you've seen all sorts of different microclimates that affect the aging of the whiskey.
That's for sure. I remember when we bought GlenAllachie, and I don't know if MD has seen any pictorials of the location of GlenAllachie, but it was the most stunning location. It was the distillery was located on the top of a cliff overlooking the North Sea, and in fact, if you look out to the North Sea, the next stop was Sweden. And I remember saying to myself, it's almost impossible to buy a location like this. It's just amazing. And there's no question that location would have given a more briny note to the early stage of the maturation process for these casks. Unfortunately, we didn't really have GlenAllachie long enough to bring some of the very, very good wood ideas we had there. And if you watch the next 2 or 3 years, there will be some amazing GlenAllachie releases, I hope, if Brown Foreman are up for that kind of thing. But yeah, so and at Tobermory on the island of Mull, it was much the same experience. We were interfacing with the west coast, the Atlantic wind, and again, you would certainly get briny notes, but maybe a different kind of twist to brine. And then at Deanston was a lowland or a lowland highland. Look, there's been a lot of good things, a lot of things we've learned. And even at this stage in my life, I'm beginning to forget now more than I can recall, but I'm still learning.
And if you can find something to do where you're still learning all these years later, then I think you're doing it right. So thank you for that. Let's keep moving on. We've got it's now time to get into the single casks. So it's go time. Up next, we have a 12-year single Oloroso cask. And our buddy Rajnish is here to present it for us. Raj, you with us?
All the way from Los Angeles, California.
Rajnish is also having a whiskey lunch with Fernando.
Thank you so much.
Lucky you.
Just an amazing experience, and I'm definitely standing on the shoulders of giants.
Raj, you're super quiet. Can you get a little closer to your microphone or turn it up a little?
You're having problems technically.
Hold on. Can you hear me now? A little better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Is that a little better? Okay. All right. So, just an honor and a pleasure. Like I said, I'm just definitely standing on the shoulders of giants here to be in the presence of and the rest of everybody here, the clubs. You guys are all amazing. This Specs cask, very cryptic. I tried to get information on this, and nobody at Specs wanted to give up any information. But this is a wonderful single cask Oloroso Puncheon, 12-year, clocking in at 56.4%. The cask is 340, so it's about 500 liters, 132 U.S. gallons. But when you taste this, it's just a brambleberry explosion. Stewed fruits. You get also how Billy just mentioned, in Scotland there's no summer, but you get that essence of when it changes the weather, when it changes from spring to fall or from summer to fall, you get that where it's still in the environment, you're still getting the warmth there, but it's very bright and a very I say it's very bright and very what's the word I want to say here? The nose is it's just an amazing
It's a stunner. What you're looking for.
I'm stumped. On the nose and the finish, you get a little bit of molasses. You get also dark red fruits. Maybe a little melon there too. I'm getting this is just this is a stunner of a whiskey. But I reached out. I kept trying to find out from Specs who actually. I was trying to say, well, who actually did the pick? Who tasted this? And they did not want to tell me anything. They were like, we can't really tell you. But from my own experience of just spending the little short time that I did with this whiskey, this is just an amazing. At 12 years, distilled in 2008. And I'm saying this Oloroso, I think to me it seems like a full term maturation in the single cap. They didn't.
It's quite interesting when you're nosing and tasting it's difficult. It's quite often difficult to try and capture the right word that describes the flavour. And it's not everybody, and that's why different people will come up with different taste experiences or descriptors for these taste experiences. Getting your tongue to tell your brain what the experience is like, quite difficult. For us as blenders, the best time to do this experience is first thing in the morning, when your palate is probably at its freshest, your nose probably at its cleanest, and your brain probably at its brightest. But in fact, trying to capture words to describe the experience you're having is really quite difficult. And it's why different people will, I mean, I could say bananas and you might say, maybe it's more like molasses, or I could say treacle, you might say toffee, or I could say apples, you might say, no, I'd say lots of fruits. It's really quite difficult. This part of the sharing is quite difficult. And I'm sure in your team tonight, if you were having a kind of in-house conversation, while you might be able to get close to what the holistic experience is, you will use different words to describe it. And I can't give you a lot about the choice or the history of this cask. This will be one of the casks that I've been asked to make sure to pick and get it to a point that would be right for the consumer. And this has worked extremely well. The Oloroso is different in a sense from the PX, as you might expect. The things that you should be looking for in Oloroso is you will definitely get all the characteristics that you said. You're going to see honey butterscotch from the original cask maturation. You will definitely pick up mocha and raisins, but you will find more spices in the Oloroso. The Oloroso sherry style will give you a more spicy experience. So you'll have cinnamon, maybe a little bit of cloves, nutmeg, that kind of rounded taste experience. And that's certainly what I'm getting here, along, of course, with things like treacle and toffee and mocha, dark chocolate, stewed plums, all in there. And I hope that's the kind of full and in-depth experience that you guys are having at the moment.
Sorry, I said 340. It was 495. I'm sorry, I misread this, but this is just outstanding. This is outstanding, and to know that this was picked, selected specifically by you. Wow.
Raj, this one is 340. The Oloroso Puncheon is 340. 495 is the PX Puncheon.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I confused.
Just so we're on the right. Billy, I love this. This is like the biggest.
So the labels are really messed up here, guys, because I'm showing the PX is a 340 and the Oloroso is a 495.
Yeah, I think the labels got.
No, I got it right here.
My bad, guys.
Okay. Yeah, the Oloroso is in fact 340.
Russell broke into the bottles a little early, so you know.
Okay, just a little confusion there. Is like, are we on an Oloroso or PX?
Sorry, yeah, 340 is the Oloroso, 495 is the PX Puncheon. Just
Yes,
so we're clear.
Okay.
I'm definitely tasting the Oloroso.
Billy, I love this is like a roller coaster to me, more so than anything else that we've had today. And I've really liked it because it goes tannic to me on the front palate to really jammy, and then you get a lot of that spice on the back end. It's a beautiful whiskey. I love this.
Agreed.
And actually quite comfortable to drink at this strength. You really,
yes.
I'm not saying don't add water, but you really don't need to add water to this. This is a full experience.
I added a little bit of water, and I found it brought out a really nice nuttiness. I got some walnuts and maybe a little bit of marzipan.
Yep. And that's something that will feature quite a lot. Marzipan or indeed almonds.
I really like those nutty notes. All right, Rajnish, thank you so much for presenting a fantastic whiskey. Anything else? I guess not. Oh, there it is.
This is just fantastic. This is a fantastic whiskey and just great experience. Thank you so much, Billy, for joining us today. This is just an honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Raj.
We execs proud, Raj.
That's great, Raj. Thank you very much.
Well,
so now that we've gotten into the sherries, let's keep it going. Keep on the single cask. Let's get into the PX here. So we've got cask 495, a PX Puncheon. This is going to be presented by our friend Sunil from Parkland, Florida. Sunil, you with us? We sure can, brother.
I am.
How are you?
Can you guys hear me? Wonderful. Well, great, man. Great. So good afternoon and good evening and good morning, based on where in the world you guys are calling from. First and foremost, Mr. Billy Walker, I just want to say this is really an honor and a pleasure to be sharing the screen with you. You are a legend in the whiskey making world, and I personally want to thank you for bringing wonderful whiskeys to us here in the U.S. and Canada, but quite candidly all over the world. So thank you so much for that. It was really a pleasure for me to join you guys here. Myke and Russell did ask me to present a brief background. I prepared this 19-slide PowerPoint. He said, "Can you scale it back a little bit?" I said, "Certainly, I can do that." So just to kind of share a brief little history on me. Got into whiskey, many moons ago, drinking Johnny Walker Black and coconut water in Trinidad, where I'm from, and that kind of progressed onto really appreciating single malts, namely from Scotland and now all over the world. And through my journeys, created an Instagram platform on Instagram called Wonders of Whiskey, and I'm thankful to say I have over 23,000 followers now, and really it's all to share my passion for whiskey from not only Scotland but all over the world. And through that journey, kind of brought me to realizing in what I thought there was a gap in quality whiskey glasses available in the United States, and quite candidly, I think potentially Canada as well, which kind of led me to source these handcrafted glasses from Poland and bring them over here, which is now available. So that's really just a brief background on Wonders of Whiskey and myself. But I do want to share with you, Billy, part of that journey on Instagram. I was able to connect with Sam Helmus from Impex, and he was able to align us with one of your friends and colleagues at GlenAllachie, who is Richard Beattie. So back in April, Richard and myself did an Instagram Live, which was so wonderful. It was so lovely to have him on. I think it was midnight his time, probably about 7, 8 o'clock here. And we just had a wonderful discussion about GlenAllachie, and we sampled 3 different expressions. So please, when you do see Richard, tell him his friend from Parkland, Florida, Sunil, said hello.
Hello.
Awesome. So I have a privilege tonight to kind of share with you guys. I know there was a little confusion with the cask numbers, but it's the GlenAllachie 2008. I think it's cask number 495, aged in PX. I'm pretty sure it was distilled in March 7th of 2008. It's a 12-year U.S. exclusive, and it was bottled in October of 2020. Before I kind of dive into that, I thought it would be kind of good to take a couple of minutes and just kind of go over like PX, right? We talked about PX, we talked about Oloroso. There's also other sherry casks, Manzanilla, Fino, so on and so forth. So I did do a quick little Google search and just wanted, I think it would be helpful for all of us. Some of you guys probably know this already, but it was really good for me. So the PX cask originated in the southern regions of Spain. They are now found in Australia, South America, all over. It's a very sweet fortified wine, anywhere between 15 and 22%, and has a sugar content of more than 212 grams per liter. That's really on the higher side. Typical sweet wine is considered to have 45 grams of sugar per liter. So just kind of think about something for a second. Coca-Cola, which I think all of us here on the line are familiar with, actually comes in at 108 grams per liter. So when you think about PX and Coca-Cola, PX is almost double as sweet as Coca-Cola, which I thought was really interesting. So the PX maturation provides for extra sherry sweetness. So when you drink PX, and I think someone asked a question, so I'm glad they did, you want to look for the notes of dried fruits, raisins, and maple syrup. That's what I, kind of gathered. And it was really cool for me because when I tasted this, a lot of those same notes on the nose was also on my palate. So on the nose, I got raisins, nutmeg, baking spices, and some toffee. That's what I picked up. Billy, I'm not sure if you kind of concur with what I alluded
listen,
to so far. Am I on the right track?
You're on the money, and I'm listening because this is quite a good introduction for most people in the audience. But what I would say is that while we're comparing sugar levels, the sugar level in PX is not added sugar; it's unfermented sugar from the grape.
Very good point. So it's unfermented, and I didn't want to get too elaborate. When I was looking through how PX are made in the grapes, it's a little bit unique to other grapes, right? Like how they ferment the grapes. So I'm not going to spend, I don't think you guys want to get, too caught up in the chemical science of fermenting grapes, but it's definitely fermented differently than maybe some of the other grapes that we have in our whiskeys.
I think the grape is allowed to stay on the vine a little bit longer than some of the other varietals. One point I would make though about the sherry casks is that the guys who are seasoning the casks will season them in sherry for about the first seasoning will be for about 9 months to 12 months, and they will take that sherry and they will convert it into sherry vinegar, because if they don't give the wood the first seasoning with that sherry, we would get these casks that would have too much tannin left in the wood. So the first seasoning of the sherry goes to make sherry vinegar, and there may even be a second seasoning that goes to make sherry vinegar. Then the next seasoning with the sherry, we will then take the cask and use them for the journey that we want to set out for these casks.
Very helpful. Very, very helpful. And
So,
for me on the palate, I'm sorry, Billy, I don't want to cut you off.
No, what I was going to say is, so we kind of know what to expect when these casks come in. We've kind of got rid of some of the stuff we don't want. The casks, of course, will have been toasted to a particular level. And so by the time we get them, they are in a condition that are, we would say, ripe for the next stage of the journey.
Nice. Very nice. And, what I experienced on the nose really kind of transferred to the palate for me. I definitely got some of that, for me, I got dried red fruit. I got like a jammy, but with the ABV being a little bit higher, I did get some heat, but it was really well balanced. It didn't really kind of throw me off too much. I don't think I needed water, very similar to the Oloroso cask. Typically when ABV start to go up in nature over 55%, I like to add a couple of drops of water, but I didn't feel like I needed it here. It was just really, really good. And I'm curious, Billy, when you drink your whiskeys, how, water, how often do you what is your take on adding water to whiskey? Do you do it for every one, or do you do it for the high ABVs? I'm just kind of curious, how does your palate respond to that?
It's a very complicated question, but as I have got older, I rarely add water to the whiskies that I produce, and maybe that is a conceit in the belief that I've made them so well that they don't need water. But all of what we do, we want to make a whiskey that in its natural form can be comfortably drunk, that it doesn't need water. But if you want to add water, why not? It's not my personal choice.
Gotcha. And I believe there's a saying in the whiskey world, drink whiskey the way you like it, right? So if you like to add water, feel free to go ahead and add some water. If you want to have it neat, have it neat. Yeah, I mean, I kind of stop there. Anyone who starts mixing single cask whiskey with anything else, I get all thrown off. Maybe not the best thing to do with single cask whiskeys. This is delicious. It's an absolutely stunner. All of them have been completely outstanding. One more question for you, Billy, before we probably transition over to the last one. You know, you have a lot of GlenAllachie fans here on the line. Anything that we can maybe look for to close out 2021 or maybe even 2022, something maybe outside of the core range that you think that's worth mentioning?
Look, we've got a lot of things. I've got a lot of things running at the moment. And one of my fascinations at the moment is different genuses of oak. We released a wood series, Virgin Oak wood series, which included a Chinkapin oak, a Spanish oak, and a French oak, all of which delivered different and very interesting styles of wood, all based on medium toast and medium char. We've done a lot of work now. We're looking at some Ozark oak from the States. We're looking at some Russian oak, which I can tell you, in the early stages of following the development, the Russian oak is fantastic. And we're doing some work with Mizunara finish, very expensive casks, very difficult casks to work with. It's a unique flavour that you definitely can overcook. So you've got to follow that very carefully. And we're delighted to say that we've got in the system some Scottish Virgin Oak casks that are very, very difficult to get, very expensive and very difficult to get. And the reason is that the oak in Scotland is complicated. They're short trees, a lot of knots. The coopers hate working with them, and from a commercial point of view, they don't get enough out of the tree. So there's a lot of that going on. We're looking at different levels of charring. So you could expect to get, for example, the deeper you go into the wood, the more the whiskey will penetrate, the more caramelization, the more conversion of the esters and the aldehydes go on. So you will get some significant notes like ginger, coffee, mocha. So there's a lot going on in that territory. And in parallel, from early 2018, we started doing some peated campaigns at GlenAllachie. These are coming along beautifully. I'm not sure if these will be introduced next year, but I can tell you from the work I've been doing on them and the charting of the development, they are ready. And we haven't touched on this tonight, but when we acquired GlenAllachie, and Myke kind of was maybe alluding to it early on in the start of the conversation, we acquired a brand called White Heather, which at some point in the history of Pernod was their premium blended Scotch whisky. And we've done a lot of work in this because we believe there is still a lot of energy and life in blended whiskies at the top end of the market. And that means that a lot of blending knowledge, wood management has to go in to deliver the kind of quality of product that we're looking for. And we launched the White Heather 21-year-old. There were only something like 500 cases bottled, but it was emotionally good for me because I'm a blender. I like working with blended whiskey. So you will see a 15-year-old White Heather appearing at some point next year. And in parallel with that, we've been doing some work on the McNair's series, and there's more to come on that. So yeah, look, there's a lot happening, and there'll be a lot of new releases next year. I hope not too many because we don't want to overburden the market. But all of the things that we're doing fascinate me, and from a blending point of view, I want to see the consumer tasting them and giving me a response.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for answering that. And before I leave you, Mr. Walker, I'll be here on for the rest, but I just want to say cheers to you, Salanchava. Again, thank you. It was an honor to chat with you today and share the screen. So stay well and
good health.
Salanchava.
Thanks, Sunil. That was great. Sláinte, everybody. Got some fantastic whiskey this day, so I think very thankful for that.
Myke, do you mind if I jump in and ask a question real quick? Billy, I know you brought up the the sherry vinegar. Can you kind of speak, and you probably haven't done this in a while, but can you kind of speak to Paxarat and kind of how that affected the whiskey
the
industry,
Pax.
many moons ago?
Well, Pax doesn't exist anymore. I'm young enough to remember when it was legal to use Paxaret. But I mean, Pax has disappeared for the last. It's not been allowed. I'm not even sure that the Spaniards allow sherry companies to make Paxaret anymore. In fact, they don't allow them. It's not legal to make Paxaret in Spain anymore.
Oh, interesting.
So Pax it played a role in the industry maybe 50 years ago. But I can't remember the last time that Pax, it would be 40, 45 years ago, it was kicked into touch.
Okay, that was it.
Thanks for that. We've touched on a couple times on blends and on whiskeys that go into blends. You've acquired a number of different distilleries over the years, and a lot of them had in common that the whiskeys that they produced were primarily used in blends, and you've taken them from that distillery cranking out the ingredient for a blend to a really respected producer of single malt whiskeys. You've built core ranges at each of those distilleries. And I think we can all agree that it's been very successful time and time again. Is there anything specific that you've found that needs to change in production methods or cask selection, wood management, to take that distillery from one that has traditionally been supplying blenders to one that's putting out premium single malts?
Yes, the answer to that question is yes, and much. And in fact, it's quite interesting, Myke, that when we acquired Ben Riach in 2004, there were something like 20 single malt distilleries that were either mothballed or closed. And that tells you that the kind of almost phoenix rising from the dead happened somewhere around about 2004, 2005, 2006, where single malt became a much more in-demand experience for whiskey drinkers. And it's grown now. I think single malt represents something like 11 to 12% of all Scotch whiskey sold in the marketplace. And pre-2004, it would probably be half of that. So there has been a sea change in the understanding of what single malt is, and indeed what malt distilleries, the purpose of malt distilleries and their reason for being. But if you think on it, that before this period, most malt distilleries functioned to support the blended whiskey industry, and many of them in the Diageo and the Shiraz stables still exist for that purpose. Same with the Bacardi stable. Now, these blended whiskies are still very, very important. There's still a lot of energy and growing energy in blended whiskey. But you raise a very, very good point. The challenge now is to be different, to drive the maximum quality into the spirit at every part of the operation. That starts with the varietal of the malted barley. What is the expectation? And from a blender's point of view, it's never been about yield for me, what we get from the malted barley. It's about the quality we get from the malted barley. The next step is, in my opinion, the next important step is the fermentation stage, where short fermentation, in my opinion, doesn't give you the full flavor experience that you would want to get from the fermentation process. As soon as we took over GlenAllachie, we moved from short fermentation to long fermentation. So our fermentations are now around about 140 to 160 hours. This has, of course, impacted on the production capacity of the distillery. It's not important to us. We work one shift now. We don't do a 3-hour shift 24/7. We work one shift 5 days a week. Fermentations are long. And when we take these fermentations to the wash still, they are absolutely benign. So the wash still distillation is a much easier process than if you were taking a lively short-term fermentation to distill. So you don't get any burn on, you don't get it. It's a much, much better process, easier process, delivers better quality. We're looking at the yeast, we're looking at top dressing yeast with natural yeast, champagne yeast. We've not done this yet, but it's in the program, and it will happen during 2022. So there's a lot going on. We think there's a lot that we can deliver in terms of differentiating ourselves from the high volume producers. And then I come to the wood, and I have to say that, and I think it's probably shared by most blenders, that in terms of flavour contribution, the wood will deliver something like 70% of the quality flavour that you get. Now, I have to qualify that by saying, if you make poor spirit, no matter the quality of the wood, you will get poor spirits. If you make good spirits and you put it into quality wood, you've got a good chance, if you manage it properly, warehouse it properly, that you will end up with good spirit. And then it's up to the talent of the individual blenders to get these different casks talking to each other and interfacing, so that 1 and 1 doesn't make 2, 1 and 1 will make 3. And that's the essence of what we're trying to do here. We're constantly pursuing, the pursuit of excellence is always in front of us. And as I've said before in many other forums, our ambition at GlenAllachie is to be the best malt distiller in the Spey Valley. And we've got some interesting
there's
neighbours.
a few distilleries in the Spey, isn't there? Well, thank you for answering that in such detail. I know that that's a question that potentially can get pretty deep into the weeds. And everybody who's on this who knows me knows that that's my thing. I love getting into the weeds. So thank you for jumping in there with me. I appreciate that. So we've got one more whiskey tonight. Fernando is going to be presenting our oldest whiskey of the evening. This is an independent bottler. This is one that I think is going to be a new experience for everyone. Before the tasting, I went on Whiskey Base and I tried to get all the data and information I could about this particular whiskey, and this one is a mystery. I could find very little information on it, which excites me all the more. This is a 26-year-old GlenAllachie, distilled in 1992 and bottled by Merlin's Mystique. So, Nando, tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get started, I'm going to use one of Sunil's glasses because I got to shout him out and say hi. Thank you, sir. Merlin's Mystique. So that's actually so it's not actually an independent bottler. It's just the label that they use. That is El Cerrito Liquor. For those of you, if you're ever in Southern California, they're out in Corona. They have a killer little whiskey shop, but this is bought through Alexander Murray, actually. So that's who they bought it from, and then they've slapped their own label on this one. But you're correct. It is a 26-year, a little bit lower ABV than what we've been drinking here, but 49.4. And then here's all the information I could get, because to be honest, Alexander Murray didn't give me a lot either. So a total of 146 bottles. And cast strength, non-chill filtered, no color added. And that's really all we got back from them.
So it's been in a hogshead or a barrel.
Yeah. I believe it's a barrel. Give me 1 second. Don't have that on here, but yeah, I mean, just based on this, the color, if you guys can see, this is not very dark, but this is actually a really nice whiskey. We did try. This is cask number 1130, if that helps anyone.
Nanda, you have an advantage over me. I don't have this sample, but what I will say, it is interesting. Alexander Murray are good people. They are independent bottlers.
Correct.
And in many ways, independent bottlers don't get the credit they deserve for building the interest in single malt during the period before in the late 90s. And the early 20s. You know, these guys have done a really job sponsoring and promoting single malt. But without, I've tried a 1992 that has not experienced additional maturation, and I can tell you the characteristics will be you will be getting vanilla, butterscotch, honey, orchard fruits, a little hint of grapefruit, maybe even a hint of anise.
I definitely get a lot of fruits on this for sure. Once you get to that mid palate to the end palate, you get a ton of fruit on this. So this dram's actually really interesting to me because I feel like sometimes when you get to these older whiskeys, you lose a lot of the punchiness in the malt, and on this one you don't, and especially at 49.4, it's still like a big whiskey, which is not in a bad way, but like really good. I really enjoy this actually. So I don't get a ton of vanilla on this one, to be honest, but that fruit is just so ever present to me. And it's a lovely dram. And then I also, this one's not in the tasting, so I apologize everyone, but Billy, because I knew we were going to have you on, I went and got, I don't think you can really see that. This is the 1989 USA cask 29-year sherry butt. So since I knew we were going to have you on, I had to go get this and drink this with you. I haven't had this yet, so after I try this,
that one will definitely not disappoint.
I hope not, considering what I had to pay for it.
Sorry.
No apologies. I was happy to do it. I shared this with a couple of our members too, but I don't know what's everyone. Well, I guess I normally open it up to the field. What's everyone thinking about this one? Because I actually really like this. This is very nice. This does come in at a price range of about $250, and I think he has about 20 bottles.
I can go through the chat here and share some of the notes that people are putting in there. So getting a lot of people saying that there's floral notes.
Sure.
I'm certainly getting that. I'm getting like a lovely honey sweet heather. It's really nice. I see citrus in the notes here. Fantastically balanced whiskey. Thanks, Mark. That's great. Some lemon, honey, malt forward. A lot of people saying orchard notes, orchard fruit, and a lot of mentions of the mouthfeel. And that's one thing that I certainly agree with. This has got a really lovely, oily mouthfeel to it. It's not tannin led at all.
I think if you peer deep enough into this one, you might even find some pineapple.
I'm not sure if I found the pineapple. I'm finding I do get some tropical notes in there, maybe like a kiwi or something. It's a lovely whiskey, Nando.
Yes, absolutely. So there's definitely not an astringency here, but Mike, I could see what you're saying by kiwi in the sense that like kind of the way a kiwi puckers you a little bit at the end. I can get that from this whiskey.
Ricardo's
absolutely.
saying maybe barbecued pineapple. Yeah, I can see that. I like that.
That brings the sugars forward for sure.
I may be
Yeah, I
going
mean,
off on a limb here, but I'm tasting a little bubble gum in this, so I'm not sure where it's coming from. But I just kind of remember like what bubble gum tastes like, and I got a little
A
bubble
little
gum
big
in here.
league
So
chew for those
that's
Blue
just
Jays
me.
fans out there.
interesting. But that's what I love about whiskey too, right? Because you get so many different tasting notes from everyone, right? Because it's your experience is your own, and like it'll change depending on the day, right? Like what you ate today or haven't ate today, considering I didn't eat breakfast before we started this, but you know, you get a different experience every time, and that's certainly what I love about the whiskey. Billy, I did want to ask you one question though. My question, so our club was kind of built off of finance. We started as all finance professionals that kind of did this as a networking group, and then it turned into a full-on whiskey group. For me, when you sold GlenDronach and Ben Rioch and moved into GlenAllachie, was GlenAllachie something that you always kind of had your eye on, or was it just kind of you took your time and looked to see what was out there?
That's a really searching question, Nando. But selling GlenAllachie and Ben Rioch and GlenAllachie was not an easy decision for me. But I was one of a 3 partnership, and I recognised that selling was right for the other 2 partners. So they had been fantastic partners for since 2004. So it was right to go along with the decision. In terms of the pursuit of GlenAllachie was like, you know, a lot of these distilleries, Ben Rioch and GlenDronach, they were underutilized. They weren't being allowed to express themselves. And from a blender's point of view, a blended whiskey point of view, I was very familiar with GlenAllachie. I knew it wasn't a shy Speyside. It was quite a bold and muscular Speyside, and that interested me. The other attraction was that it was a blank canvas. It was a distillery that had never really been exposed in terms of its own personality as a brand, and that was a big plus for me. It meant that we could go in and we could redefine the coordinates of where we wanted to take the whole journey. So when we had the conversation with Chivas, we've always had a very good working relation with Chivas. It wasn't difficult to be convinced on both sides that this was the right thing to do. It was a distillery that offered us a significant inventory profile from new fill through to 1978. Very attractive. It meant that we weren't limited to what our plans could or should be. But we did realise that the journey was going to be challenging. We wanted to as quickly as possible reinvigorate the personality of the site, give it its own DNA and define it. We wanted to define it as a sherry style with add-ons. And listen, we're part of the way there, but choosing GlenAllachie wasn't difficult. It was a well-managed site, beautiful location. It ticked all the boxes. The water supply was fantastic. It was a distillery that could produce almost 4 million litres of alcohol. So we realised there was plenty of water to support this distillery. We had no ambition to operate at that level. Our level would be around about 600 to 800,000 litres. We had great ambitions for what we were going to do, many of which we have put in place, including long fermentations and the things that we want to do in yeast. We had our concepts and ideas of the ranges that we wanted to bring to inform consumers. We knew the routes to market that worked for us. We had really no interest in dealing with well-trodden routes to multiple retailers. We wanted to bring our products to the market through private, independent importers, distributors. So the kind of history of GlenAllachie kind of ticked all these boxes, and so we set out on the journey. Have we found anything disappointing? Absolutely not. It's been terrific.
Thank you, Billy. I mean, that's so awesome. Thank you for being so open about that. I think one of the things I find fascinating, at least in kind of my journey in whiskey, is kind of following some of the journeys of, you know, the master distillers, master blenders out there. I mean, I think there's a lot of correlation with how, at least a little bit, with kind of Jim McEwen and his love of Bruichladdich while he was at Bowmore and how he left. And, you know, I'm sure some of that is a little bit romance. And, but it's great. Thank you for giving us that like deep dive right there. That's really awesome. Because I'm just fascinated by the business moves, right? Because that's just what I do on my Monday through Friday and usually Saturday and Sunday too. But so thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And I agree with you. I just poured this and tried this, and this is fantastic. So I don't have anything else, Myke. If you want to take it over, I just want to say let me say thank you to not only Billy Walker, because Billy, thank you so much for being on, but to everyone on here. I think it's amazing that we are able to get Canada and America together, and we're from all over, you know, different parts of each country, and I think this is just what the whiskey community is about. I know Russ touched on this earlier, and I'm so grateful for, you know, being able to do this and present this for all of you. You know, if you guys are ever in Southern California, look me up and let's have a dram together. So cheers to everyone, especially
Well, thanks,
Billy.
Fernando. That's
Long may
fantastic.
continue.
And, you know, just to follow up on what Nando's saying, you know, this, of course, Russell and I represent New.Whiskyorder, and of course, a lot of the people attending are from there. But we also have Execs Whiskey Club, which Fernando is representing. We've got the Kingston Single Malt Society, which Bill was representing. We've got the Palm Beach International Scotch Society that Eddie is representing. And then that's just the presenters. Beyond that, I'm sure we probably have representation from hundreds of whiskey clubs and societies from around North America. So, you know, I know for me myself, and I'm sure I speak for Russell, we love doing these kind of events. Obviously, we like drinking whiskey. That's pretty fun, but it's just so great to be able to bring everyone together to share not just the whiskey, but to just share being together. And, you know, if we get to have some delicious whiskey and learn a little bit more about the industry, it's just a really great bonus. But, you know, thank you, Billy, for joining us and sharing so much knowledge with us. And thank you for everybody from around the world who's joined us today. I've enjoyed myself immensely. Sláinte to all of you.
Sláinte, thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nando. Thank you, Eddie, everybody. Raj, Myke, just a real treat to share this with all of you guys. And cheers. And next time. Billy, thanks for taking time out of your evening. Much appreciated.
Not a problem.
Sláinte,
Sláinte from Kingston. Billy.
Thank you, and good night.
Billy. Thank you for joining us.
So
we'll
good night,
continue
Billy.
on now for as long as people would like. I know, particularly for folks on the West Coast, hey, it's just getting into the afternoon, so why not? But
why not?
We've had some great whiskey, so let's enjoy it.
Since I bombed earlier,
yes.
That was awesome, guys. Honestly.
You have to remember, I'm an old man now, so I have to go to bed.
No, you're free and clear, Billy.
Thank you.
We on drinking without you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Billy. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Billy, thanks again.
Thank you.
See you, Billy.
Myke and Russ, can I say one thing too, real quick? I just want a big thank you to Sam Filmus and Joshua Hatton, who are I don't know if Sam's on the call. I know Joshua is. I know they did a lot of work for us, and obviously they push GlenAllachie quite a bit as being one of their portfolio. Honestly, if it weren't for Sam, I don't know that I would have gotten a deep dive into GlenAllachie as much as I have over the past year and a half. And once he kind of pushed it on me, I kind of fell in love with GlenAllachie, and that's why we decided to do a GlenAllachie tasting. And obviously, luckily, Russell wanted to do it too, and so we combined it. But man, I've really enjoyed the GlenAllachie journey for sure. So thank you, Sam and Joshua. I appreciate you guys.
Joshua at the beginning, but I don't know if he was paying attention or what was going on. But yes, thank you, Joshua and Sam. They didn't really, didn't hear much from them, but they're those heavy hitters. They don't need to say much. They just in the background doing their thing. So thanks to both of those guys. Sunil, excellent work, by the way. Raj, nailed it. Got to work on that audio. But
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just came off of 48 hours of no sleep. I just moved, and it's just I just I crash and burn here, but I had to, man. That single cask. I mean, this is just an amazing lineup from start to finish. There was just no. And they're coming in and all over the place, but it's like Mount Rushmore. It's like it's monumental, and but definitely this was just an amazing experience. Thank you guys. Nando, Russell, everybody that made this happen, because this is definitely out of the ballpark.
There's no crash and burn. I mean, you're a little quiet, but that was a great presentation, great whiskey. Eddie, you knocked it out of the park too, from the patio, no less.
Hey, man, I'm just sitting in the resort enjoying some really good whiskey.
Nothing better to do, right?
I figured mine as well.
I love that you were taking drags of your cigarette while presenting, Eddie.
Say it again.
But I love that you were taking drags of your cigarette while you were presenting.
Man, I'm trying to quit so bad, man. But drinking
Dude,
so
I
much
thought you
whiskey,
quit like 2 weeks ago.
Darts.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. As soon as I have some drams, I have to.
You do what you gotta do, my friend. You do what you gotta.
No judgment here, man.
Taking draws.
So here's like the $1 million question, right? Like, and it might be asking you guys like to pick your favorite child, right? But or kid. We went through all of them, and I poured half because I didn't want to get too tipsy. It's only what time is it in Parkland, Florida? 4:30 in the afternoon. But if you guys had to maybe choose like one, did anyone in particular kind of maybe separate itself from the rest?
Big question.
Curious.
Ooh.
It is a big question. I mean, I'll go first, and again, just because I asked the question, so just to kind of get it started. But again, I think we had 6 outstanding whiskeys tonight, but for some reason the Oloroso just kind of like popped in on my tongue as being something a little bit special. I mean, again, all great, but that one in particular for me was pretty special.
Dude, 100%. I'm with you on that
The
one. For me, dude, the
was
Oloroso was just outstanding. It stood out the most.
I am a sucker for PX, though. I love Pedro Ximenez, and that PX cask was fantastic. But I'm gonna go with maybe not the dark horse, but I think that Merlin's Mystique. I feel like that was a bourbon cask. I feel like that was an old ass refilled bourbon, and just where I am in my whiskey journey right now, I love a good bourbon cask, and that thing, just the fruits and the licorice and that barbecued pineapple, as Ricardo said, man, that whiskey was just off the hook.
As my good friend Billy Sinclair
that was a stonker. Nando, I might need to see if you can get one of those bottles up north, my friend. Yeah,
I can get it to you if you need
one
it to.
smoking hot ex-bourbon cask. It's just gorgeous.
Okay, Mike, here's one.
I have to agree with Mike.
So good, right?
That was just a classic drink. Yeah. I mean, it was so well balanced. It hit every note. It was perfect.
Well, okay.
So, Mike,
PX definitely has a play in those black hearts for sure.
To me, like it's the.
They're
Don't make
upstairs.
Mike
They're
pull out
upstairs.
those
We're
black
cool.
arts
We're cool.
again. I don't want to see that
I'm
shit
all
right now.
GlenAllachie today. I'm all GlenAllachie.
The after party is
right there, Mike.
Yeah, but it made sense why Specs kept shutting me down about asking, because when Billy alluded to that he personally picked that selection, they didn't want to really tell me that, so they were like, we can't really tell you that. So, but now it makes sense.
Well, it's one of these two.
I'll jump in real quick. I honestly, what my favorite would maybe depend on the day for me.
Which one's left?
The Grattamacco, if that's how you say. I actually have no idea how to say that because I don't drink wine. But
like
big
candy,
peach
right?
rings to me, like as an opener, this is maybe the most stunning opener
These are the two that
I've
are
ever
left.
had. That Oloroso was such a roller coaster ride of a bunch of different things. I really loved it. And then that PX was just a big dessert.
So I was
We had two
digging
left.
into
Yeah.
those wine casks, the
the
Grattamacco and the Rioja. So Grattamacco
We had the same
is
two left.
an
We had two
Italian
left and
wine.
we had two left.
two more.
And
Yeah, we already
so it's
did.
an Italian
I
wine.
shared that.
And the winery for Grattamacco is literally just down the road from Gaia, Bulgaria. Now, I don't know a whole lot about wine other than the various casks that have been used in Bruichladdich microprovenance bottlings. Shocking. But those Gaia wines are basically the only Italian wines out there that are on par with the French Premier Cru, from what I understand. So extremely premium Italian wines. So the Grattamacco is from just down the street, like same region, same microclimate. So extremely high quality wines that went into making that whiskey. Nando, you're saying the peach rings. I'm getting the peach, the fuzzy peach candies. Just such cool tasting notes on that one.
For sure.
Again,
Absolutely.
here's me getting into the weeds.
100%.
That's kind of what I do. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people left on here.
That's what we're here for, right?
Point. We got up to 86.
I would say, well, how many people did we have? What was the max?
That
like
was the
90?
high water mark. And we didn't even have
Wow.
room hit.
Oh my
You
God,
couldn't
that's
get in.
crazy. Love it.
It's nice.
Yeah, there was a few people clamoring. I'm sitting here trying to converse with the group and doing it.
Yeah, I'm the IT guy, and I left. I threw Russell under the bus today.
You're the IT guy. Well, somebody had to do the presenting, so I'm not good at either one. Clearly, I'm not good at labeling either.
You did pretty good, man.
You got a pretty flamboyant shirt on, Russell, to not be a presenter. Look at that thing.
Dinosaur shirt, man.
My son would love that shirt.
Russell shirt, though.
Have any of you done a selection with them yet? Picked a barrel?
Russell, we've sort of talked about doing that, right? We'll see if we can split a barrel.
We picked one. We'll have it in like between November and December. It'll be here. But I was just curious if anybody wanted to know your experience with them.
Salmon. Well, just from my end, being in America, maybe it's a little different, but Sam's has always been great, and if he sent me the list and we'll look at it for sure. I love GlenAllachie, so I would love to bring in a single barrel. We unfortunately, when I say we execs, we have a Kilhoman coming right now. I have a Westland that's about to land. We just had Westward land. And then we have a single Cask Nation one that's due later this month too. So like you can't like stack like too many on top of each other, right? Because you have to sell out the barrel. But yeah, no, GlenAllachie for sure is on the list of things I would
Yeah,
love to do.
we sampled a port and a sherry and ended up picking the port. But,
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
They were
port
both
single.
great, but the port just
Was it
Yeah, there was a ruby
ruby
port
port
single
or
cask here
regular
in
port?
Canada, and it was
Ruby port.
spectacular.
It'll
Oh,
be
so
it'll be
we-
close to 14 years.
Yeah, we have Cask 7862 in the as an execs add-on, which is a ruby port type. For Impex picked this one. It's kind of one-dimensional, but it's beautiful. That one dimension. It's like it's a dessert dram from start to finish.
7682.
Yay, 7862. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one we have.
As Jake was saying, there's a flood of single casks in Alberta earlier this year. We didn't get any in Ontario, of course, because we never get anything good in Ontario. But luckily, most of us have friends in Alberta, so those GlenAllachie single casks have just been spectacular. So I see Ricardo just popped up there. Is Co-op working on anything? Are you allowed to talk about that? Can I ask you?
Yeah, actually, James Bourne's on the call here as well, and we actually have a single cask of 14-year PX. I'm assuming should arrive by Christmas, January, around that timeline. We actually split the cask with another cooperative in on the island, so we're getting about half of them, a little bit more than half. So it should be a pretty decent run. I think about 300 plus bottles. So I did try it, and I thought it was like literally you can pour it over ice cream. It's so thick and syrupy. It should be a good one.
GlenAllachie?
GlenAllachie 14-year PX.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
above 55%. I think it's close to 60% actually too.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say put us down for 2 bottles.
Yeah, Ricardo and the
out
other guy that was talking earlier, because his name shows up as iPad. But where are you guys located?
Me?
Yeah, both. Yes, both.
Yeah,
I'm looking at both of you. Yeah.
We're between Baltimore and DC.
Oh, nice.
So ours will be here in, like I said, sometime between Thanksgiving and the end of the year, I believe. And it came in. They sent us the label already. It's 57.8%, just under 14 years.
Nice. Yeah, we have a couple people on the East Coast there, so maybe they should connect with you guys.
Yeah, we just, I should say it's my buddy who owns the store here. I've done a bunch of bourbon picks with him. This is the first Scotch that they've done. And I think he did a pre-sale already. We're anticipating like 350-ish bottles, somewhere between 320 and 350. He did a pre-sale. I think it's about 200 gone already. So before it's gone public, kind of. But if anybody wants one, just let me know and I can try to help.
Yeah. Put your. Do you have an IG or a Facebook, or what do you have?
Facebook. I'm Scott Allen in your group.
Oh man, I'm an idiot.
Pain in the ass. You have to ship it.
Got it.
What bottle is it?
I want to get one. So.
I'm just loving the thought of these single casks coming out. Just enjoying this Moscatel wood. But yeah, I'm gonna need to get some single casks in my shelves here. So Ricardo, that's awesome that you guys are bringing that out. Scott, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that port up from the US, but we'll see what we can do.
Just stick it in a
send
pinata
me
or something and
some
ship it to you. I don't know
decorative
how this
glassware or some balsamic vinegar samples. You know how it
That's
goes.
right. Friends that find brands. Right. Pickles. pickles.
Massage oils.
I don't suggest using decorative glassware. The Canadian services
that's
are
not good.
kind of keen to
I
that
mean,
one
that-
now,
that's not fair to
and we've
Sunil
been
either.
caught a few times. So. Send it as rainwater sample.
But that's it. Maryland can't ship from the store. I mean, if you could ship from the store, they'd be gone before they got here. But it's tough here.
Olive oil to
BC,
Canada works.
olive oil, artisan
Yep.
hot sauce, all of those things, right?
Yeah, I like that organic hot sauce.
And I
That's
mean, we don't want to
extra.
cut in. We
That's
don't want to be
awesome.
cutting Sunil's lawn either here with the decorative glassware.
Yeah, next thing you know, they're stopping my shipments to Canada because of this
Yeah,
group.
honestly, just send it what it is. Border services will, we'll pay our little tax fee, and it'll all get here.
You just have to put 2 golf balls in and then label it as golf balls. Because then if you rattle it,
Yeah,
sounds
small
right.
100 mils
With a
of
small
whiskey
whiskey sample, right?
So actually, if you're shipping to Canada, it's better just to ship straight alcohol, label it as alcohol, because the thing is, if it comes in through the AGLC and there's golf balls in it, everything gets dumped. They have no way of dealing with the golf balls. If it comes in through Canada Border Services, no problem. You pay the taxes on the alcohol, it gets to you. But if it comes in through the AGLC, you're screwed. They dump the bottles.
Oh, you don't even
Canada
know.
sounds difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, I just love 2 bottles of Single Cast Nation and 2 Four Road single barrels that
Organic
are
truffle
for the
sauce.
FedEx Frank.
Oh,
Why don't you guys
the
give in
answer
and
to
become
that
the
question
51st
could go on
state?
for quite some time.
No. Yeah.
Leave
Yeah, let's talk
leave the
whiskey shipping.
politics out of it. I just
That's
want to
why
talk
we're
whiskey
here.
shipping.
Yeah,
David, Canada would become the biggest state at that point. So Texas is out.
I'm okay with that.
Even though, well, Alaska is the biggest state, but
Yeah,
still.
that's not a real state.
That's not a real state. That's true.
I was
I
say
would
if they
say when
would
we
get
take
rid
the
of the
barrel-
provincial borders on the whiskey and just had it as one shipping to Canadian, it'd be a lot better. But every province is in charge of their own liquor control, and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Especially in Ontario.
Province to province, never mind, coming in from Scotland or US. It's easier for our local distillers to ship to the US than it is to ship to BC or Saskatchewan or Ontario. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. So,
Well, sounds like you need to get yourself a mule who's driving across borders.
how do you think we do it? Somebody's always going to a province one way or the other.
Yeah. What's great, I follow. So I guess
No, we're all over the place.
you guys are mostly in
Alberta,
Montreal
Ontario,
or
Quebec.
All over.
Anybody representing Saskatchewan?
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, never mind then. But we'll see you, Sunil.
Yeah.
Great seeing you guys and gals.
Yeah.
Fantastic couple hours with you. You
All right,
guys have a
brother.
great
See
rest
you
of the
later, buddy.
afternoon, and I'm sure we'll be catching up soon. Thanks for that, Fernando. I appreciate it. buddy.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. All right.
Hey, I found the link. You can see that.
Oh, 2007.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, 4041. I like that.
Movie
A little
Fortnite.
November 26th.
13.
Bottle
So,
exclusive.
bottle of,
I
I
like
don't know
it.
yet.
I like it.
Bottle run.
10.8.
That's awesome, Scott.
Um,
My whole point of that what I was talking about was because I follow Kensington Wine Market
yeah.
and they have just fucking insane drops sometimes, and I'm like, how are you guys getting that? And then they get to sell Scotch Malt
Kensington
Whiskey
Wine Market
Society
is-
on their shelves, which is
Yep.
so
Yeah,
crazy to
Kensington
me.
Wine Market is in
That's
That's a
Calgary,
3.5
Alberta.
hour drive for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Same as
Which
where
is
I am
south
from.
of us.
But
Which
not
is
to say,
Canada's whiskey
let's
mecca.
let me just throw this out. Co-op World of Whiskey has some
thanks,
pretty
everybody.
good
I got
bottles
crying
too.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. They've got some insane bottles there as well.
Yeah, we have over 1,000 bottles of whiskey at Co-op World of Whiskey.
Yeah.
I think we
Batch
still have some
2?
GlenAllachie 10-year cask strength batch
snap.
2 on the shelf. I was just there yesterday picking up my case of junior 32. Yeah.
But I didn't like batch 2. Batch 2 was my least favorite of all the 10 CS batches. I liked 1 and 3. I haven't had 4. Love 5.
Batch 2 was an abomination.
I had no idea you were
Worst
going.
bottle ever put out. And I have bought 40 bottles of GlenAllachie. The batch 2 is disgusting. I wanted to ask Billy what he was thinking when he put that out.
Well, you had your shot.
It was definitely disappointing. We just did all the 10-year-old cask strength, 1 through 5. And yeah, it was pretty unanimous on number 2 was like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 4,
It's
I
right
think
up the first release of the 18-year-old, which also like has no business.
Well, I gotta say that batch 5
it
was
was also a very
fantastic.
disappointing whiskey.
I very much enjoyed that. The 15-year-old in the core
Tasty.
range.
Yeah.
I tried a sample of that,
look
and
like-
holy shit, that's good.
Killer. 15
Anybody
proof.
want an open bottle of batch 2? It's been sitting here for weeks.
Is it not good? You said it's not good?
Not even good whiskey. I wouldn't even mix it with anything.
Okay, because
I love
I see some
see
batch 2 here at Specs, so
Yeah.
Don't buy batch 2. It's the worst one of
Yeah.
the 5.
Don't
Second worst
do it,
whiskey
dude.
I've
It's-
ever had.
got it.
Good thing I didn't give up on the brand after that.
Yeah. Well, you
Well,
had
what's
batch
crazy to
1
me
and
is how
batch
good
2, yeah.
how good was the 10 CS, and I don't think he was even like a
Yo,
top
we
2
had
whiskey in
some
the tasting.
strong whiskeys in
you
this
know?
lineup tonight.
Like,
Just,
there's so many good
just
bottles
throwing
today.
that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That Oloroso was phenomenal.
Strong
Yeah,
in terms of
we
they're
didn't-
really
we didn't
good, and
throw out
strong
any
because there's a
40%ers
lot
at
of
you,
high
did we?
ABV today too. Because yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I started this tasting a little hungover because my neighbor got
as you do.
divorced yesterday and came over late.
Well, I
and
mean,
we didn't
this is
end until late.
this would have sorted you right out.
So I wasn't feeling great. But
You sound
like a pro.
yeah.
Little
Oh no,
hair
I
of the
feel
dog.
I feel great right now. I can take on the world. I'm ready for work tomorrow. But so I'm gonna end with a little GlenAllachie 23-year single barrel from. Actually, that's not true. It's gonna be my second to last.
Interesting with the Alexander
this is
Murray. Yeah,
another
they are
Alexander Murray
so
pick.
opaque with their bottlings.
Yeah, there was like 2 years ago. There was a 2004 13-year first fill sherry that was like 60.2%. That total wine I had gotten some. So those Alexander Murray had been ushering in those single casks, those black label single casks at that time. So like you said, it's very you never know what they got in their storehouses, what they're gonna bring forth. But that GlenAllachie was just wow. It was just a sherry tsunami. It was just crazy, and it was a 13-year. I wish I had.
They're so hit or miss to me. So it's like, but if on the cask strengths, I think they're really good. I don't even touch their non-cask strength stuff
Little
anymore.
rocket fuel for you.
Holy shit! This one's 60.9%. I just saw from a hogshead. Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway, we have to bounce. We've got
And
separate
by
plans
separate
tonight.
plans,
We
you mean you're going to
get
go
ready
hang out
for
by
it,
the
so.
fire with all
Good
of
to
your
see
friends?
everybody again.
And I'm going to be super jealous about it and look at the pictures tomorrow and being like, fuck!
Maybe.
Like I do every Sunday, Kent.
Yeah, it's okay, Mike. You can go cry into your black art.
Hey, Mike, we got to start our own
I'm
fire.
just going to hold this one for you. We'll do a special bottle pop with it. Batch
Okay, I
number
love
1,
that. I
just-
love that. You know I'm
I'll
into
keep
that.
it on the shelf, next year, hopefully.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. This,
Either that
this
or we'll have to
pandemic
do
won't
some
last
virtual
forever.
one night.
And as you know,
Excellent.
I got my family's all up and down Alberta, so I'm going to be out your way.
Exactly. Chat soon.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm knocking hard. Knocking hard.
You better knock on some wood, Mike.
All right. Kent, Cheryl, good to see you. Have a great night.
Great event. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get some fire
Oh,
sessions
man.
happening out here in Ontario. I'm in Hamilton. I feel like I need a fire pit. Everybody's welcome. Who wants to come? Farzi? Yeah, buddy, let's do it.
I'm in. I'm Niagara, so.
Yeah, you don't need a fire.
Mike, it was 90 degrees where I live yesterday, so I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, Farzi and me,
And
we're
that
up
here
where it's
today,
starting to
so,
get,
I'm ready for
little
another
bit-
chilly night in
little
the
into
park,
fall.
Mike.
What's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Little.
Rainy and cold.
Let's do it. So last time Adam and I hung out was in a park in Toronto. It was like 6 degrees Celsius, and we were drinking samples of Octomore 2.2 and 4.2. It was cold as
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
God damn.
Despite the
did those
cold,
whiskeys
you know,
keep us
probably the
warm.
worst
Am I right? Or am
environment
I
to
right,
try and
Les
taste
Scott?
anything in. But yeah, no, it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Couldn't feel my fingers.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
I
it's
still,
gonna
I
happen.
still
and I've got
have
some
half of
private
those
Cask
samples. I'm
Brugatti
waiting for you
samples
to
that
get
I've been
down
saving for you, so we can share.
Yes. I'm into it. I'm super into it.
What are those?
Is that on Facebook
Speaking
or
of
just
Octomore,
Instagram?
we just posted our
Yeah.
Octomore tasting today, so that just went live right before this tasting. Yeah, I was on IG, but
Like 3, I think, right?
well,
time on
we got the
23rd?
Rest and Be Thankful French Oak and the Boutique Whiskey Company 10-year Octomore.
Boutique
will both be in
Octomore,
that
huh?
lineup.
Is that on Facebook or Instagram?
On Instagram. Jesus.
Instagram, David.
Damn it.
Well, up, Nando, you got.
I'll be
sorry,
at work.
David,
got
if
a
you want
boutique
in, let me
Octomore?
know. Just message me.
It's
Yeah, 10 years.
Dude.
I've been chasing this one forever, and this dude
Mm-hmm.
that actually he lives in Orange County where I'm from, and
so it's
he's
a 10-year-old
moving.
Octomore.
So he's like he wanted to unload it, and
All
I was
right,
like,
so
I'll buy it
shit. So
today.
everybody loves
Yeah,
the
it's a
young
10-year.
Octomore, right?
Boutique
It's all
10-year.
about the 5-year-old Octomore, punch in the face. So I've had some pretty amazing Octomores, 2.2, 4.2, 6.3, 8.3, all amazing whiskeys, fantastic whiskeys in their own right, young, rowdy, crazy, delicious. But to be honest, I think my
That
favorite
10-year third
Octomore is
edition
the
blew me
10-year
away when I tried
third
it.
edition,
Just
the
shockingly good.
Dialogos.
Mm.
It's unreal. It's got port, it's got bourbon, it's got sherry, it's got all sorts of crazy shit in it, and it is an insane whiskey. So this this boutique, what cask is it in? Yeah.
It has to be bourbon. I'm pretty sure it's bourbon. Yep. Let's see.
I just saw the 10.4 for sale when I was in
0.4
Arizona
for
like
$230
$230
American?
bucks, and I wasn't sure if it was.
There was a 10-4 there.
Yeah.
That's the Virgin Oak,
Fucking
right?
buy it. It's so good.
Oh, really? I left it. I know where it is though. I could have my mom go get it or something.
Your sister.
Oh,
okay, bourbon.
10-4 is the most unique Octomore
I love the
I've ever had.
0.4. It's like the
Sorry,
Virgin
Mike,
Oak.
yes, it's
They're
bourbon.
crazy.
Yeah, it's Virgin Oak, but it's the lowest ppm Octomore ever at 88.
It's 3 years old.
And yeah, it's 3 years old. And it's bacony, it's jammy,
all right,
beautiful. It is such a good whiskey. It's in the add-ons for the tasting we're doing, but I'm limiting that to 15 very specifically because
hold up.
I want to keep that one. But David, if there's 2 of those, get 2 because I want one.
checking the
will,
chat here. Reginald, you
I
out of
will
here? You leaving
see
us?
what there is.
Is he gone? He ghosted us. All right. Good night, Reggie. Yeah, Octomore it's a beast. It's delicious. I would love to be able to get an Orpheus, but man, they are just not easy to find these days.
Oh,
Just
it just went for $600 on
sample
auction. One of
sales,
my
lit?
members got it. I was so mad.
Yeah, two.
He
Yeah,
opened
that was
it.
good.
We cracked it last weekend.
Which one was it?
The Orpheus.
Yeah, the 2.2.
He gave me
Never even heard of that.
the 2.2. He gave me a sample.
I don't know. I'm looking at auctions right
finally,
now. I
somebody
still need a
older than me.
1971
I'm a
bottle of
77.
something.
It's not easy to find that shit either.
Yes.
Didn't?
Oh. No, it's easy to
Well,
find it. It's
as
just not
Aaron would
easy to
say, her
afford
dad's
it.
a little decrepit for sure, so he's getting up there.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. I love your shirt, David.
Trying
You're
to
the best.
find that.
It's a great shirt, isn't it?
Trying to find the birth year bottle is always tough, especially as.
Oh.
Well,
now, so I'm 85. I don't know where that puts me with everyone, but
85.
but
You got
they're so
you got a
expensive
DNA
now.
in
It's
there,
gotten
right?
ridiculous.
You can a Brook Laddie rare cask. One of those is an 85, I think.
82
You can find them, but they're not cheap.
I'm 96.
I got one of those. I got one. It's
Oh, that was
I got all the
looking for a 99.
I'm 96.
Aaron, shut the fuck up. We tried.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, fair
I'm used to
enough.
it.
Who just said 96? Oh my
God.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
Adam, meet
96.
Aaron, meet
The
Adam. You
youngins.
guys are like right next to
Well,
each other on my screen. That's
I'm
all
70.
right. I'm not looking at this side of my screen
Yep.
anymore.
No, no jokes.
The fact that
I'm
we're
77.
drinking whiskeys older than
and
them.
Earlier this year, I managed to get a Blair Athol signatory vintage 18-year-old. Sorry, no, a 22-year-old. That shit was not hard to find, and I gave up something near and dear for it. But I'm glad I got it.
Portwood's a 96.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking on
Yeah, I'm 76, and I've got some samples, but that's it.
on one of the auction sites. There's a independent
Who's the
bottle of
bottler,
a Glen
David?
Farkless 1971 35 year in Oloroso.
The Whiskey Fair.
It's the Whiskey Fair.
How long until the auction closes?
Yeah, and it's only $570 right now, plus shipping.
Wait, 570 pounds or $570?
Dollars.
All right,
Oh, okay.
nobody
Auction
go
ends
bump
tomorrow.
that up on David, please.
Uh,
And the hammer fee.
plus shipping. Plus shipping.
Wait,
Oh, there's a damn it.
Mike, you're born 77.
so-
How do you keep
okay,
the hair
check this out.
not gray? Because my shit's just going like fast.
Fernando,
So I mean, the hair
really?
is still
Really?
black, but look,
Really?
look at the beard, man. Right? Yeah, I got a wife, I got a kid. Forget. Yeah, I need.
Again, Mike. Come on.
I can't grow facial hair. So,
Well, I finally could after 30 years.
Yeah, I hear you. Got 82 is hard to find too. All that stuff is pricey.
I'm just trying to.
Pricey.
Yeah.
But I found a couple of little things here and there.
Well, I find it's a lot easier to find a 1971
Yeah.
than it is to find a 50-year-old, or at least a 50-year-old.
well, at least finding a 50-year-old that's into you, right?
Yeah, I got a couple
not one of those yet.
89s, but nothing 82.
We'll keep this PG. It's 89.
I have a sample of that coming on
This
Monday.
one right here.
Actually,
I
it's a fun one to look at.
Bladnoch,
Scotch.
I had 3
I
straight days of
randomly
whiskey
found
tastings.
this
I had my first
Bladnoch. It's
in-person
84
whiskey tasting
Bladnoch.
since
It was
COVID.
$200.
Last night. I had this today, and then tomorrow, a
the
buddy of mine
Bladnoch
in the
84?
Chicago area went into some random mom
So
and pop
good.
liquor store and found a full shelf of like 70s and 80s Scots bottlings. There was like a Bladnoch, there was a Glenrothes, there was like a 70s Glenlivet, a 70s Highland Park, there was an Inverleven, I think, all sorts of crazy stuff. So he managed to do a bottle split and get it, decent price for the whole shelf. And so we're tasting all those tomorrow. I love Bladnoch.
Bladnoch was, it's really good. It's insane. It was sitting on the shelf, just super
easy
dusty,
for
and I was
$200.
like, it didn't have price tag, and I was like, God, I know this is just going to be expensive, and I went, and he's like $200, and I was like, deal. I'm like, cheers, here's my money. I'm fucking walking out before you say anything else. Like,
Take my money.
Yeah, to get my 77, I had to give up
That never
a
happened to me.
cuvee, which I did not want to do, but yeah, Bruichladdich. I think it was
the micro.
What cuvee
The
did I give
Bruichladdich?
up? Hold on for a second here.
Which one?
Definitely not the 407. I would not give up a 407 for
The
anything.
40 or
I
the
don't give a
406
fuck
or was
what
it
it is.
406?
Because the 407 is literally that good. I traded for a Cuvée 640. So that's the 640 is amazing. Like no
640 is
joke.
still really
640
good.
is that's the brandy one. It's a fantastic bottle.
Yeah,
But to say that it is my least favorite of those three cuvées. So
yeah,
I to get a 22-year-old birth year bottle, I feel like it was worth it, and it is delicious. I mean, 70s Blair Athol is awesome. It's a fantastic bottle.
I love 70s Ardbeg.
Oh yeah,
There's nothing like that.
Oh, a lot of those 70s scotches are beautiful.
For sure it is.
Like 70s Ardbeg is beautiful if you can find it. It's stupid expensive.
I tried it in a bar. Is what it was. We have one bar in Toronto that had reasonable prices. And they had they had Ardbeg Lord of the Isles
for a 70s
for
Ardbeg?
I think $50 a glass. So my birthday a couple of years ago was Ardbeg Lord of the Isles, and it was glorious. No, the feathers. No, if it was a Caledonian, it'd be like $1,000. Yeah.
Oh, feathers. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're right.
I think Feathers still has a
unless you go on
72
Breaking Midnight.
Ardbeg for I think 90 a glass, 90 Canadian, of course. So Yeah. Yeah, you can still get a $50 brewer there. You can still get Port Ellens for under $100. Oh yeah,
That's like $28.
It was like an 18 Douglas
let's
Lang
go.
old malt cask
Drinks
brewer,
on
an
me.
18-year-old, heavily peated one as well, and it was amazing. What? Yeah, no, for this one bar. This is the only good bar not the only good thing in Toronto, but the only good bar. So we got Mike's, we got Mike's house.
All right, forget this trip to Kentucky. We're going to Toronto. It's
in Hamilton now. Yes.
Yeah. Well, my house is in Hamilton now, so if you want to come to Hamilton, I got you.
Toronto's
I
fun.
got everybody. Come on down. I got a big backyard, big porch. I got a few whiskeys. I want to go to.
I don't have any
It's
whiskey.
like
Don't come
90
here.
degrees right now. It sounds good to me.
I know. Well,
this
90 degrees, and I have a lot of this stuff that we mutually love.
Is that water or mezcal?
That is water. No mezcal is being had today.
Well,
I did pour this a bourbon aged single cask of this GlenAllachie, and I like it the least of everything we've had today. So.
Which one?
It's from Rocco Wines up in Sacramento. I don't love it actually. So, And I love Roe. He's a great guy, but this single cast sucks.
I don't know. I got
What's
more of
that,
this
the
$4.95,
PX
and
one?
that's
The
pretty
PX
damn
was
good.
good.
Is that the Specs one?
The
I
PX,
think
yeah,
that was
the
my
PX.
second favorite.
Yeah,
That was
I
my
guess.
that was my favorite.
I should probably go back to Specs and find some more.
Yeah, that PX was a beauty for sure. I think there's some of the PX and some of the Ruby ports left at Specs. So
Well, I mean, depends which Specs you go to.
yeah, it just depends on which Specs though. That's the problem.
No, well, for you.
Oh yes, exactly.
Only a small road trip for us.
Yeah. My problem is I have to tell you what I like, and I have to hope that you don't take what I like, and then there's still more.
Oh,
So.
you know I wouldn't be like that. Come on.
I know you would, David. You're a giver.
We'll share this one with you.
Which one? The pork pipe? Let's see where that is.
The bourbon. Which one is that? That's the Aaron. What's the name of it?
Which one? This?
Yeah, St. Cloud. That's the St. Cloud. Yeah.
This is terrible. St. Cloud? It was free, and I don't even want to drink it.
Oh, you won that on Instagram?
No, someone gave it to her because they didn't like it.
No.
Part of that was because it was bourbon.
No,
Hey, easy on the
I'd rather
101.
drink Wild Turkey 101.
Easy on the 101. That's a solid bourbon.
Hey, I actually really like.
I'm not.
I like Wild Turkey
I'm not
101.
dating on it. I just finished the whole bottle of it.
Right?
In the summer, Wild Turkey 101 on the rocks is great.
Yeah, it's a good drink.
Oh, you try some Wild Turkey from the 80s and 70s? Oh wow, it's good.
The cheesy gold
Yeah, but
foil?
that was
Oh.
different.
No,
Wild
the
Turkey from the 80s
decanters.
was
The
completely
decanters.
different.
The decanters.
Wild Turkey 101 from
Better?
the 80s was completely different.
Because like right now,
Completely
Wild
different.
Turkey 101 is awesome.
Yes.
Then I want some. The problem is
It was
the bourbon
much
taters
better
want to
than it
pay
is now.
thousands of dollars a bottle, and I just don't.
Everything was better when you're first like getting into whiskey. You know.
Probably
some more of that. Take some more of that.
But you haven't
Yeah.
tasted this one yet.
Yeah, I will certainly not.
I won't
mean,
pay thousands of dollars
me,
for Brook
I don't
Lottie,
want to
much
diss
less
bourbon,
bourbon.
but
So.
like,
Yeah.
I think the most I would ever pay for a bottle of bourbon is maybe $200. I won't go any more than that. Yeah, and if it's gonna be $200,
I'm
it's gotta
right
be a
there.
big
Literally,
tag,
that's like my limit.
or like
That was a little more.
that's the thing, right? Like
you can
get
stick with
well, I mean, not
$15 and be
$15
good.
in Canada,
Yep.
but I mean,
Yeah.
for you spend 35 Canadian, you can get a solid bourbon up here, right? Spending $2,500 for a pappy, like, come on, get the fuck out. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Evan
When I
Williams
reference
bottled in
35,
bond
I'm talking
is,
Evan
I think
Williams
it's
single cap.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And for us, it's $15
Right,
bucks.
so-
You know. Yes, there you go.
No, I get. I
100%.
recently traded. Scotch is always my first love, but I recently traded
Oh,
a
apparently.
Laddie 20. Don't get mad at me, guys. I traded a Laddie 22 for
I fucking hate you,
for
Rod.
for an 81
see
Wild
that
Turkey
trade.
decanter and some samples. Like there was a local barley
Mhm.
10, the 55.6, that Boona 24 that you guys gleaned off the shelf. That was at
Great
that first
whiskey.
edition.
They're better
And
ladies,
you
I
know, a
think.
few handful of samples, but I had
22 is a
I had
good
two more
bottle.
in the
It's a
bunker,
good
the Laddie
bottle,
22. I love Laddie
I mean,
22.
to
Good
be
sipper,
able to
but-
experience some like 80s Wild Turkey, I mean,
So-
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I said okay, I'll do it, but like you said, on
That's fair.
a good day, I might spend
Yep.
$125 on bourbon
I mean,
if I'm pressed.
that's what I do too, Nando. I buy bourbon.
I just
and
use
then
bourbon to
Canadian,
taste
that's
my
like
stuff,
$5.50.
Oh, come on.
All right. I'm gonna
So,
I'm gonna go back to this.
What is that
29 year
cask?
because this shit
Is
was
that
amazing. Sorry,
what kind of sherry?
I'm flexing right now.
Just sherry.
Sherry butt.
Probably Oloroso.
It just says sherry butt on it. I would assume it's Oloroso.
Oh man, that's awesome.
All
right, I gotta jump off here. I got kids upstairs. If y'all want
still
to
coming
stay
in at
on,
55.
who wants to be? I got you.
Shoot it to me, Mike, if you can.
All right, brother.
Gonna head as well, I think.
And I'll stay on till 2:30. 2:30 is my cutoff.
All right.
Well, 2:30 West Coast time. I don't know. Everyone's on a little bit.
All right, everybody.
Gonna say it's
Awesome to see you.
5:15.
Great whiskeys,
Yeah.
great presentations, super good time. Thank you so much.
Cheers, bro.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, man, it's just
Hey,
good
Mike,
business.
great
Just gotta
job.
keep everybody on schedule.
Great job
That's my job.
moderating it all.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers,
Lunch.
Yeah.
Cheers, Mike.
I am opening this up.
What is that? Blair Athol?
Yes.
Oh God, I love that. That's from the new. I love that one.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan. I drank like half that bottle the first weekend I opened it a couple weeks ago.
I just got it because of you.
You should. Adam, what the hell are you doing home? I thought you were supposed to be up in Northern California.
She had a couple tastings and she texted me and said, "Hey, I wish you could be here for these tastings." And I'm not teaching this quarter, so I really don't have any reason to be in Davis. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll come home for a week or two." So I'm here.
I didn't say come home for a week or two.
She said a long weekend, and then I said, "Fuck it, a long weekend. Why not make it 2 weeks?"
You know, when I was your age, home wasn't my parents' house.
Can you tell I don't like Davis very much?
I think the other problem is my whiskey cabinet looks better.
No, it's just that I don't like Davis.
Well,
this one?
To be fair, my whiskey cabinet looks a lot better than it did when I was in college too. So,
So I will pose a question here. If you could live in Santa Monica or Davis, where would you be?
Santa Monica. That's
Not
a stupid
California.
question. You don't even have to ask that question.
Okay, well, David Felder, Texas wasn't an option.
It could have been.
Texas will never be an option.
Sorry.
I like that women have rights here.
Yeah, but I don't even understand the words you're saying. Hey, speaking of the PX, though, as my daughter was wandering through the Rick House on her job interview the other day, she saw a barrel of PX Balcones.
So can we lick this barrel and claim dibs?
Yeah, we're really.
Yeah, Aaron, congratulations on your new job. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really happy that Aaron is not going to be working for Balcones.
Not yet. Starting tomorrow.
The right one you're saying try first.
Yeah,
right?
but that's close enough. We're very happy.
No,
I'm happy about PX Balcones.
We're all
Jason,
gonna
are
be
you
hitting
mixing
Aaron
cocktails
after
over there?
Balcones.
Is that a shaker?
He's talking to you.
Me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, we're doing a little blind here.
Oh, is that just water? I thought it was a shaker.
No, this is a hydro glass. You gotta stay hydrated, baby.
Free hydro glass?
I had
That's cool. Over here.
one already.
One.
Brian, what's
One
going on,
more.
man?
What's up, man? How you doing? I just I'm gonna fuck too.
Ooh, what are you drinking? What's that?
I haven't cracked it yet. What's your drink?
Oh, is that same 29 year?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
I was looking
It's
at 15, just the Shelfie 15, because I actually love it. It's really good.
For sure.
I've been
15 so
considering
good.
cracking this one.
That 20. If it's the same one that I have, this shit is really good.
It should be. Yeah, it's
That 15 was really good.
2510, yes, very good.
Oh, my daughter bought.
Don't get me wrong, it was expensive.
21.
I mean, you know where I got it from. I didn't get it from Michigan.
Yeah.
I have a Belvany that I'm giving to my son to take home.
Better
For
than
his
you
bar.
What was it that he had chosen for his first bottle? Like a
mellow corn.
Yeah, mellow. Mellow corn ain't that bad.
Okay.
I was trying to find
All right,
something like
it was
Mad
the
Dog,
cheapest.
but, you know.
It was the cheapest bottle at Trader Joe's. Okay.
Melon would be the
have-
cheapest bottle at Trader Joe's.
That doesn't
They
mean
had
you
a
have to buy it.
Glenfiddich. They had a Glenfiddich 12. They had a Glenlivet 12, and then everything else was like $65. So I bought the $28 bottle, not knowing that my mom was going to have a seizure when I posted the picture.
You're in college. You should.
My 22-year-old's first bottle.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong.
No,
That's
exactly.
a fucking great.
That's what I'm saying.
I was not drinking. Listen, I got a late start. I was like 26 when I started getting into whiskey. I wish I was 21, 22 when I got into whiskey.
Right? I wish I
Yeah.
was too, because that would have been 1990-ish.
I would have saved myself a lot of money, I think.
I mean, the least bit
When I tell you my mom called me.
Doers. This is doers.
Doers?
That's my.
I was,
I'm like, what is this? What is this stuff?
My mom
Yeah,
called
from
me
the
and she was
Scotch,
like,
I
"You
know.
can never." She called me and she was like, "You can never post a bottle like that again. I'm buying you something from Rocco right now."
I agree.
Hey, well,
That was the most.
hey,
that was the most
hey,
offensive thing.
That's
I
a
saw
cheat
on
code.
Facebook
Keep buying
week.
that shit.
Wow, I just got into
I mean,
this
it was
sport.
like a 30-minute conversation. She was like thoroughly concerned. I was like, "Mom, it was the cheapest thing they had, and I didn't want beer." And she goes, "I don't care, Adam. Never post a picture like that again. I raised you better than that."
I bought a Balvenie for the first time in years.
Yeah, but that's good. The PP.
The P-Week 14. This shit's so easy to drink. It's so. It's the
Yeah, the
old
Balvenie
version too.
PP. Okay, that is the only
Fernando?
Balvenie I will drink.
Yeah, so good. The old version's great.
2002.
This
That
is
Balvenie P-Week is the
so
only
good.
Balvenie I will drink.
What's wrong with you?
Should be on the front, the red lettering.
It's not the new release. Didn't one just come out recently?
No, this is. I think this is 2013.
No, it should say either 02 or 03 on the front.
Oh, sorry, 2000. Yeah, it's 2003 vintage,
Oh.
but it was. Yeah.
I'm sending this one back with him because I won't even drink this.
These are the 2002s. Twin Liquors just had their
Wow.
sale.
The 03 is fucking great. I think it's really good.
What I heard was that the 03 was more balanced, but the 02 was more interesting. So maybe a sample will show up by you.
Well, listen, if you want to trade a bottle,
That might be possible.
I have people that, over the years have gifted me bottles of Scotch.
That must be
Of
nice.
stuff that, Yeah, well, I work in a profession where people know that I drink Scotch and they give me Scotch for Christmas,
But they don't know what type of Scotch to drink.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so oftentimes I get a lot of Fiddick. I get a lot of Fiddick.
Oh! Fiddick 12, you said.
it's okay to re-gift, Elisa.
And I have been.
She literally just gave my best friend like 3 bottles of Glenfiddich. He came to say hi, and she said, "Take them."
Here, take these away. Mix them with Coke.
Well, in Santa Monica, you got to be careful about what you say there. They might be interpreted wrong,
Right.
The wrong Coke.
I gave him a Glenfiddich 14 and 15, and I said, "Here, please take these with you when you go home."
Oh,
Look what we got to taste. I went to that Drammers meeting in Seattle, and Charlie brought the rest of this Fajale Kalila.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I might have.
little taste of it.
Was
And I
it
brought a little
delicious?
taste back. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
If I had to sum it up, I'd say it's the purest expression of I love Pete I've ever tasted.
Oh. Well, you're 21, so we'll take that with an asterisk.
Right. She's 22. She's 22.
Well, 22. I'm
And
sorry,
okay, and which one of us works at a distillery? Oh, that's right, her.
Hey, to be fair, hey, I'll give you that. Hey, Aaron's going to be leading the execs meetings in like 6 months, so it's all good. I'm good with that.
Hey, if it pays her more. Oh, wait.
That's
why I said, oh, wait.
I don't really pay that well. I'll pay you in whiskey. That's really all I can do.
I'm already paying whiskey.
She gets a free
What?
Okay, Adam will lead them if you pay him in whiskey.
She gets a free bottle
Yeah,
every
but-
month.
I don't want Adam to lead the whiskeys group. So.
Right? Who's that?
Oh, I'm just kidding.
He's
So
very
people kept
charming.
commenting. So obviously, so now that was like execs group pretty much.
That's fucked up, man.
People kept commenting about the port barrel, and I'm like, what fucking port barrel did we have in here? Because I was thinking ruby port, and I'm an idiot. So, but yeah, this port, which NW didn't have, this is really good.
Wait, which one is that?
This was very much a dessert whiskey to me. So if you
I
guys
thought
like
so
it,
too.
Was that the 06?
That was the first thing I said.
Was that this one?
yeah, the 06 single cask. Yeah, 55.4%.
That was really nice.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I
Yes.
said when I drank
That
it. I
one,
said
Ryan.
that is definitely an after dinner drinker.
100%.
Was that a specs one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's where I got it. It's sorry, not it's Impex.
It's Impex.
Impex
Oh,
makes this
okay.
one. But it is available. It was, I bought this one at Specs, so it was available through there. Yeah, I actually this is one of this came out like early this year, I think, if I remember correctly. I instantly like love this, even though it's very one dimensional.
It is very one dimensional, but it was really nice. It was
It's a very lovely one dimension, absolutely.
if my wife wasn't asleep, she might have even liked it. But it's gone now.
Well, luckily you live next to fucking Specs, so you're good.
Yeah. Oh, Specs has got the mezcal cask now.
Yeah.
Let's see, Raj. Oh, the Kill Woman?
Yeah.
I need you to get that mezcal.
Yeah, buy me one.
Hold
Buy
on.
me one.
I'm seeing where they are. Hold on.
Quijome mezcal?
Yeah, I haven't had it yet.
In a mezcal
I
cask?
passed on it.
Oh.
It was at high time, and I passed on it.
They're all in Houston. It's a 6-hour round trip.
Yeah, they got that Smith store there. Always has everything.
Well, yeah.
But can't they ship to you in state?
In this one?
Delicious.
You mean this one?
Yeah, that mezcal one. I want 2 of those.
There's 13 of them.
Come on, Case.
You got 13?
In Houston.
In Houston. How about that one?
Yep, that's the one I want.
No, this is the one from Scotland. That's Royal.
Wait.
That's Royal Mile.
Can't they ship to you in state in Texas?
No.
They don't ship in state?
Even within the same company, they're not allowed to transfer whiskey or liquor across state lines.
No,
County
no,
lines.
no.
Sorry,
Within,
county lines.
no, within the state.
Specs
If you're
won't
in
do
Texas.
No, even within the state,
Specs
it's
won't do it.
illegal to transfer
They have
across county lines.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, which is why if I want something in Houston, I have to drive to Houston.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Nando, this
Is that the Blair
is,
Apple?
oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have any of
it was
that.
my favorite of everything of the release.
This might even be better than the Linkwood, and the Linkwood is, oh my God, amazing.
To be fair, I haven't had the Linkwood yet, so I can't say anything about that. But the Blair
No, that
Alpha,
Linkwood was, oh my God, amazing.
yeah. But my
Oh, nice.
Mr. Siebert, if I'm saying your last name right, but Michael, I just got from your neck of the woods.
Oh, Aboudeh.
The Boona. This is going to be in our Boona tasting next year. The Jack Rose pick, and I also got this the Edgerdower
Yeah.
from.
Look at that color.
Yeah,
Holy
I
cow.
haven't tried the Jack
Yeah.
Rose
It's
Buddha
like-
yet. I need to go.
There's
black.
The whole 4 miles out of
There's
the way.
two shots
Get it.
on the shirts. Crazy.
A friend spoke highly of it. I think Benny's had a pick that was.
I've heard
the
it's
next
really good.
cast
I haven't had
over,
it either. So
and that one was really good. And this one's not quite
Yeah.
as amazing, but I need to go
Some other stuff.
visit. It's been a while.
Yeah, I gotta get your card out of my car.
He's had some Edredor that I was able to snag
Benny
before
shipped?
they stopped shipping down here, but I can't. I have a hard time
Yeah.
getting Benny's to ship to me now.
Those sons of bitches.
I think it's been like 7 or 8
Benny's-
years since they
Benny's
shipped
used
me.
to. Benny's doesn't ship
I was just thinking, wait,
anymore.
what?
Long gone.
Long, they won't ship to me anymore.
Yeah.
Yep, they
Yeah.
won't ship anymore.
I'll get that pork Charlotte.
Hold on, I'm trying to think of
was it Potomac?
the place I bought this
Or- Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, Potomac Wines. Yeah.
Hey, Fernando, see what else I found?
Oh, that's
Which
good.
year is that?
That is a, I don't know, but it's a Jim McEwen.
Oh, it's the Isla Barley. It's not the. Sorry, that's the Port Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Not the Bloody. Yeah.
No, 9.
Sorry.
I want that one.
9.
I haven't got to open it yet.
Yeah.
But that was it.
I love this one.
Just wait for my visit to Texas.
What's that?
That 2011 is really good. I like
This
that.
one's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what year this is.
We all go to 2007.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whoa, the Rockside
This
Farm.
one,
Yeah,
2011 is
We'll
really
never
good.
have that again.
It's the Rockside.
I found another one of them recently. The Rockside.
Which one's that, Mike?
That's why I got it, because I
It's
want to
Rockside.
try the two
Oh,
different
that's-
whiskeys.
yeah. Well, because Kilhoman sits on Rockside now, so it will never be done again. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For
the
sure.
Kilhomans. I brought back the batch 5, the batch 6,
BIB.
the BIB, and I ordered one from Astor Wines in New Jersey. It was a single cask.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That was very bourbony.
The BIB is pretty good.
That one's got weeded bourbon, right?
It's a Weller.
Is Weller? Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't popped that one yet.
Oh.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Balcony for good.
Wait,
Oh, there's
so
Balcones as a
are
weeded one
Balcones
now,
still
too.
doing the blue corn bourbon?
It's very interesting.
So,
Oh, okay. I got to go to Waco.
They did last month for Bourbon Heritage Month. I think that's also a distillery exclusive.
DC. Okay.
Yeah. Where are you? Oh yeah, you got to wait.
Yeah.
Or you got to talk to us. since my
I-
kid's gonna
I-
be there like 4 or 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
I intend on capitalizing on that Texas relationship.
Oh, I haven't opened this yet.
No, so I haven't tried another one I brought.
Nanda.
Yes, please. Very
okay.
much, please.
So, if anyone else wants in on the Octomore, you got to let me know.
Oh, Nando,
I
Adam
sent you a
just
message,
pinned in on that
Yeah.
again.
I know.
Did you see that?
I know, it's funny.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I might.
There was an issue.
I might not be able to make the call, but I want in on the tasting kit anyway.
David, you can't do
No,
that.
you're
That's not
gonna
like how
you
this
need to
works.
attend that call.
I've already got
You've been in on the tasting and not attend the call. That's not fair.
I've already got a thing down in Austin at 11. I'm not sure I'll make it back in time. I'll try.
I'll say that I
I
saw
cleared
Spec
my
still has a
calendar so
PX
I could
cast
attend
in
the
Austin,
tasting.
but
See
it's
what
not
I
seen
did?
Waco.
Yeah, but I've already-
So, just
I've
saying,
already-
you might be able to swing the pot.
They do.
Austin's not that far either.
The PX.
They've got there's about 4 bottles of which one?
The PX.
I will Venmo you.
They do.
Can I Venmo you twice for that?
Which store?
Probably Arbor Walk or
Yeah, I got to go down there anyway. I got to pick
Thank
up a
you.
bottle.
Mike, I'm adding you in right now on the tasting. Sorry.
I got to pick up a bottle for Elijah down there. So
For who?
Hey,
Elijah.
real quick, Jason, meet David. David, meet Jason. David can be your mule for that port pipe, GlenAllachie.
the port.
So I mean,
the port.
Oloroso.
Yeah, the port
or
pipe
Oloroso, either one. I don't know.
The ruby. There's a lot of ruby port around. The port pipe. I think there's 4 bottles in the Austin area.
The Oloroso is fantastic.
This one. Hold on. I already clicked that.
why is your computer so slow?
Which one? It's not me. It's their website.
Their website does suck. Next to the port pipe.
Pretty sure that said none available.
Oh man.
What are you drinking?
Sorry, I'm laughing at a message someone
Thank you.
sent me, but okay, Mike, you're number 15 out of 18.
Put me on there. Put me on there.
Let me know.
Did you get us? Nando, did you get us?
Wait, I thought you said you couldn't do it anymore.
I know there was an issue, and I binned in. Adam binned in two, one for him up in Davis, and one for me down here in Santa Monica.
No, don't spoil your kid like that. What is wrong with you? You need to let him spread his own.
Oh, wait. Okay, got it. Wait. Okay. All right, I'll message you guys separately. The roses. I'm gonna send messages and roses separately. We'll figure
It's
that
a
out.
birthday gift.
Yeah, but you can't make the tasting. Is that what you're saying?
I know. I am going to make the tasting.
She's gonna make it.
You are? Oh, okay.
I am, because I changed my schedule.
Got it. Okay. Then yes,
I
your bin
got
is
a
still
thing
good.
for my college alumni association.
I just ditched whatever I was going to do that day and said sorry.
To be fair, how many Octomore tastings have you ever been on? There's not like a lot of them, right?
Well, that's
Oh,
why
right.
I
It
just
doesn't
said
very-
sorry.
Hey, Mike, which store are you
All right,
seeing
sorry,
that PX at?
I've got 3 different windows because I'm also suddenly searching for the Cloman Mezcal cask.
Mike,
and talking
sorry, that's
to
for
one
the
of the
tasting.
Impacts guys. So let me get back to that page. I have an interesting but slightly schizophrenic
those
life. I
Impacts
think is the word
guys.
I'm looking for.
I mean, there's 13
yeah, so the
bottles
Mid-Atlantic
that
got
Mezcal
18
Cask
bottles
in
of the
Kingston. If
Mezcal.
enough people want it, I'll make a trip.
So in Austin, Brody Lane, South Park Meadows, Arbor Walk have the PX cask. Yeah, there's a ton in Austin. Beaumont, Houston.
Really? Let's check. Hold on.
Spring, Texas.
That's far.
Laredo,
far.
which is,
Austin's
I believe, the Pass Nowhere.
Easy.
Fort Worth, San Antonio.
Yeah, Laredo's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for the 12-year-old PX.
Really? Because when I looked on their thing and hit all stores, it told me none.
Well, that's the thing. They don't tell you a whole
Let
lot,
me
so it
look
could
again.
theoretically
Hold on.
be a different PX cask.
The one that we had today? Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to Arbor Walk and seeing what they got.
Wait. Can I call Will out real quick? Because he's been so fucking quiet. Will,
Yeah,
why
whatever,
are you so
dude.
quiet?
Will.
Also,
What?
change your phone number to your name, you dick.
You know, this the Ring Central thing was totally new to me, so I was one of those like last second, I can like go, log in right away, and then shit, I have to download Google Chrome
that was horse shit.
Oh, it made you download Google Chrome?
Yeah.
Oh, someone
You don't have Google Chrome? What?
Mike Ames told me that the newest updated Safari works with Ring, but the old versions don't. So that's why I put in the chat on the post in the Facebook that you have to download the new Safari.
Right, because I just updated the whole computer yesterday and it didn't work on Safari.
Then maybe those Canadians are full of shit. I don't know what to tell you. That's my
yes.
Well, I got to tell you that Zoom does work in Canada because I do Zoom with people in Canada.
Hey,
Where's the whiskey order?
Russell wanted to set it up.
Is there any new whiskey order on this call?
You hosers.
Not anymore. I don't. Well,
I heard
think
the
some
quote
of us
that
are
Americans
across-
like Canadians
cross
because we don't
borders
know anything about
with
them. Canadians hate Americans because they know way too much about us. This seems to work as a general. Yeah.
Right. Look like that. Oh, there we go. 12-year page. The 12-year Pedro Jimenez. Yeah, Brody Lane's got 23 bottles.
Who wants PX Cask?
Yep, I'm going down there on Wednesday, so if anyone wants it, let me know.
See, Jason, there you go. Don't bother me. Fucking just call David.
I'm just gonna tell you, they whatever Edgador straight from the cask, but they might have it specs. I just need you to
They
get.
don't have
for me.
Edgador.
They don't have FFTC.
They discontinued Edgador.
Really?
No, Edgador's that's overseas only. SFTC.
That's right.
They
I
don't
thought
have
so too. When I I had like several people. I had to make a big order for Edador Nights today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I should say SFTC used to be an American, not anymore. It's not anymore.
Yeah, I thought so. I tried to
Yeah, long
find
gone.
that.
Those some of those are like stellar, but some of them are kind of misses a little bit. But some of them are stellar.
Which
that
Edador?
Belecan we had in the
The
Edador case.
Belecan, and I was going to get the Belecan, and I just put it in my cart, and I let it kind of sit there.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Belecan.
That sounds
Belecan.
terrible. I don't like the way that sounds.
Yeah, but it's fantastic peated whiskey.
Really?
Oh my God, the
wasn't in love
Belecan
with
is
it.
the best. The Belecan 11-year peated whiskey is.
That shit just sits on the shelves here. No one buys it.
Oh my God, no!
What?
But
Yeah,
the
I know.
I'm like, poo! It's like amazing.
But David, you're in a state / maybe its own country someday soon.
Yeah.
That just loves what America only. So.
America. They like that.
America.
They like that America bourbon. You seen that shit? America.
Hey, that's an advantage for you right there because you can just fucking go pull up and grab some good stuff.
That Westland peated. I mean, I know that you said I'll get you a case of that. I'm like, right now I'm like
no.
Westland's American, and I love Westland, so I ain't saying shit about that.
Westland's great.
Westland peated is so good, and if I wasn't in the doghouse with whiskey selling right now,
That's the only one I could afford at the distillery.
Did anyone else get the Moscatel from SCN?
Yes, I got both ones.
I did too. I got it.
I rank it slightly above our pick, and I can't knock them for it because it's really fucking good.
Speaking of your,
but
no,
that
I don't know. Nando, I still like our pick.
We're speaking of.
Oh, I love the pick we're doing.
Our pick.
When's it hitting?
Yeah,
When's it hitting?
It was supposed to land. Listen, here's the thing with shipping. It's all fucked. It is just all screwed. It was supposed to land this past week, and so it didn't. So
I'm still waiting for you to send me like where the link is, and I'm still in the whiskey doghouse. So let it take as long as they want.
Yeah. Tell Alex to chill out for a week, and then we'll do it. But
I'm in whiskey doghouse.
Yeah.
Me too. Like
David, what's the closest specs to you?
20 fucking bottles I brought back from Washington.
David, what's the closest specs to you?
Closest is Temple, but Austin's the closest. Either Brody Lane or Arbor Walk that actually has good shit.
We didn't say the closest specs. Closest spec.
Yeah.
I'm joking. It's okay. See,
the closest.
Laugh at.
I thought you should be done at 2:30 Pacific. What do you?
The closest of the other ones you said is at 4
but the whiskey hit hard.
Hey, good night, everybody.
You can't make fun of your own time.
I have dinner for the family, so I'm out.
All right, Brian. Cheers, bro.
Bye, Brian.
Small story. Like I said, my dad had Dewar's in the cabinet. That's all he had. Dewar's in the cabinet. I had no idea what whiskey was. I got this bottle a couple of months ago for $75. It's 1986, and it's actually pretty damn good. I call it the Goodfellas bottle because I feel like
I think that's
the only thing
cool
missing.
bottle.
It's the only thing missing on the set of Goodfellas. If you watch that movie, I've seen it a million times. But I feel like
That's a real bottle. That's fucking insane.
It's a ceramic.
That's
It's a
a cool
ceramic
bottle.
Centennial. Yeah, it's a ceramic Centennial Dewar's bottle from 1986.
I would easily buy that for 75.
I kid you not. It's actually delicious.
Cool
It's really
bottle.
good. But my dad
That was
my
the
dad
first
passed away.
whiskey I ever tried was yours.
Yeah, my dad passed away like 5 years ago, and so like this, I had to buy it because of that reason. So. But anyway, cheers, guys.
Cheers, bro.
Yo, Nando, this one is for you, man. You know, I always gotta go back and forth with you a little bit.
Holy shit!
I didn't get this. I didn't get this from Bino, but this was probably my find of this year. This year.
Up a little bit.
As you should. That's the PC6.
What is that?
How good was that shit? PC6 is so good.
I tried it, but I haven't opened this one. But PC, but low key PC6 and PC7. they're neck PC6 and actually PC5, PC6, and PC7. They're all cut from that same cloth. But I mean, well, some of those other PCs too, like those PC12, that PC12 that I saw you had. I mean, some of those are just.
Oh, the PC12 is fantastic, but it's sherried, so it's like right up my alley, you know.
Pop it, Raj, pop it.
I'm saving my old ass is turning 40 here and soon, so it's gonna get popped. It's gonna get popped very soon.
I don't want to hear about age.
I'll bring that on. I'll bring it on tour. Do you have the on tourist more?
That's the 7, ain't it?
The PC.
That's the 7.
No, the PC. No, the PC on tourist more is the PC.
Oh, that's the 8, right?
No. It's its own version. That's the one that Jim. It's the PC how Jim wanted to make PC.
Oh.
So I have that one. If you want me to bring that one, I'll bring it. Well, it depends on what you want. An Octomore? Do you want a PC?
It don't matter, man. And like I said, you guys from execs, man. Trust me, man. We'll be in touch, man. Because I'm gonna do a little something, man. Yeah, I'd like to see you guys because I've seen you guys. A lot of you guys only in virtual, so I'd like to see my fellows and
we
ladies and gents. I'd like to see you guys too.
We need an execs meetup somewhere in the middle, man.
Where would your middle be?
We could do Scottsdale at Travis Williams if we want to.
I'll be out there next week.
Oh, that would be fun.
No, Myke, that's not really in the middle for you.
It's not, but next weekend I'll be there. So
I would go to Arizona.
Well, we can plan that. Hey, listen, Kentucky's happening. Whether you guys join or not, I'm going.
I would go to Kentucky.
May or June next year. I'm going to post the vote tomorrow.
The problem is I'm already in Kentucky in June. I don't think I can go twice in June.
Oh, well, that's on you.
David.
You can make that choice.
I'm riding out there, so.
It's Texas. Go big or go home. Just go early. It's all right.
I'm going to be there the 4th weekend in June. So make it that time. We'll be good.
You're going in June or are you going in May?
June.
No, I was asking you, David. I was asking none.
Oh, June.
June.
Oh, wait to belittle a man. I'm posting it up tomorrow. I don't care whether we go May or June.
I'll say that every week is a week.
It's a vote. Whatever gets voted more for, that's where we go.
I have all these graduations I go to in May, so I gotta go. I mean in June, so May is better for me.
I got you, but just remember, we've got Freddie already guaranteed he would lead our tasting and take us to the promised land at Buffalo Trace. Bardstown is going to go insane, and 1792 Danny Kahn already said he's going to give us the big time tour. So we've got those 3, and then we can pick from there. So we can either do Russell's, and if we do Russell's, I want to do a tasting the first Q1. And so we can line that bad boy up, or we can do 4 Roses too, or we can just kind of wing it as well. Whatever.
How many days was it again? Was it 3 days or 4 days?
I'll probably be there.
A couple quick tips. I did not hear Willet, which is
but I'm going to plan events for 3 days. Okay. So.
2 for 4 Roses, make sure you ask for what's behind the counter because they have the Japanese releases, but they won't give it to you unless you ask for it. What I'm told. So make sure you ping them on that because I was there for my bachelor party. We were in matching shirts and they didn't do anything, and I was clearly a whiskey geek and they nothing. So if you ask for it, apparently it's there.
I didn't say we would. Listen, it's all up in the air. Whatever you guys want to do. If I cannot put together a Willet purple top tasting before we go, so I don't have that type of money. if you want to do a Willet tasting before then, and you want to I'll get the reps and everything, and that'd be great. But
Yeah.
I've got the blackened.
Those purple tops. Yeesh.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, unfortunately, bourbon and rye has gotten so stupid.
The rye is less aggressive from Willen,
Yeah.
price wise at least. But still insane.
Rye would be great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do have the standard rye. Was that the 4-year that they have? It's really nice. Actually, it's pretty nice. I don't mind it.
I like the rye.
This one?
Yeah.
Is that this one? It's the only one I got.
Yeah. Yeah. That one.
It's very
It's good.
pickly.
We do have.
It's still pretty good.
We have the milk and honey tasting. We have Tal coming, which I think is insane. If you guys don't know Tal's amazing. He's a bunch of fun to fucking listen to.
Tal's good. I have
And-
2 of their milk and honeys, and all of it for me is all young and hot.
Whoa, what?
Whoa. Mrs. Rose over here. Calm down.
Did I just hear a cougar come out?
I have a lot of milk and honey here, and all of it is young and hot.
That just doesn't sound right.
And Adam, nobody is here with me. I am by myself.
Look at
that. That doesn't make it any better.
Hey, Rod, where'd you move to?
Oh,
You said you
Whittier. I moved to Whittier. I was in Brea, not about 15, 20 minutes away, but now I'm in Whittier. So I'm kind of in the middle of LA and OC. So
I am fucked.
Still not Texas, but you're all right.
yeah.
Don't shit me. Scoot over.
Oh, there's Adam.
Yeah, but
Hi,
don't worry
Adam.
about. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get up and be able to do a lot more face to face. Hopefully soon. Nando's been bringing it, brother. We love you so much, man. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're the man. You're the golden child, basically, and everything you bring, it comes from the heart, and I appreciate that. It's amazing. So thank you, brother. Cheers to you. We'll give you a shout out. Cheers to you.
Yes.
I'm working it all.
I appreciate that, but
I've met Elissa. I've met Elijah in person. I'm working on the rest of you guys. So
we'll do
So I
it.
have-
We'll do it. David,
So I
I'm coming to Texas
do-
for sure. But
awesome.
I have 2
Nope,
milk
I'm
and
here.
honeys.
oh, is that the single cast nation peated?
And both of them are young and hot.
Wait, which SCN?
It's like how I wish I was.
You're not. Don't
It's
worry.
like how I wish I was.
You got the young part down, Adam. It's the other part that you got to work on.
Just like I like my women, young and hot.
Okay, go away. I'm going to mute us.
When I was younger, I used to say I like my whiskey like I like my
Please
women
do.
at least 18 years old. I've discovered I like the whiskey younger and the women older. I don't know what's happened with my life.
Well, you grew that beard. You couldn't do that when you were younger, so that's wiseness comes. Yeah, yeah, it's really
That's
awkward.
why
We
my
like moms
husband
more
is
than I like
younger.
women these days, but yeah. Oh,
Stop
anywho,
it.
milk and honey going to be great. Octomore is going to be great. What do we have in November? What's November? Oh, the allocated bourbon tasting. You can all hate on that if you want to, because I think it's mostly Scotch drinkers. December is going to be Springbank, though.
Oh
so
my God.
that one's going to be.
That's it. That's what you have in your
Here's the
glasses.
fun part.
Can you give any hints?
You're gonna-
No, you guys actually get to. You guys get
Is
to
that the
vote.
55?
Yeah, that's the one that will be up for vote.
Oh, it's the 56.
David. You guys get to vote on the lineup.
I was happy about that one. It was ridiculously expensive, but
Yeah, we're doing. So it's not going to be like just Springbank. It's going to be
The whole distillery?
all affiliated Springbank.
it
Yeah.
smells a lot better.
So Long Row.
Hazelburn.
Why? Yeah, fuck. I can't. I drank too much. Right. I just realized I'm too drunk. Hazelburn.
Are you putting?
And Kilcairn.
You're putting Hazelburn in there?
Kilcairn will be a part of that as well. So we'll have a killer little lineup. I promise. That one's actually, since it's going to close the year, it's going to be 7 pours, and then I'll have a few add-ons as well.
All right.
Like it's gonna be an insane tasting, guaranteed.
New business model. Can we subscribe so we automatically get into every tasting?
Yes.
I'm thinking about doing it.
Awesome idea.
I'm thinking about doing it for next year, but like
a core group.
But I want to try and make these like as affordable as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
you guys talk amongst yourselves. If 10 people tell me, like, hey, at least us 10 would do this, I'll do it. I don't want to. I don't know. I have to be sensitive about, like, I don't want this to be about money.
No.
See,
here's the thing. What I'm saying. Still make it affordable.
I'm gonna have to charge you
loyalty. No, it's about loyalty.
Make it affordable, but then you have an annual like, okay, I'll pay a little more to make sure I get into every tasting with all the add-ons.
Absolutely, Nando. I would totally be down for that. I want to be in. I don't want to be having to bin in for.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so let me back up a little bit real quick. Like, I'm about to sell the company that I work for, and once I'm done with that, then I can, like, I'm not going to say I'm going to work full time in whiskey, but it's not going to be like my side thing anymore. It's going to have a little bit more presence, so I can build a website and everything.
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Good for you, man. That's cool.
So I'm side by siding.
Yes, we saw those already. Thank you.
My stance is, bro. My stance is, I have no problem sitting out on certain tastings as long as we can all join. As long as we get on and hear the knowledge. Because, like you said, I don't care if I didn't get a set, but just to hear Billy Walker talk and enjoy that.
Oh, today for sure.
I could get a GlenAllachie and just sit and just enjoy that. So, like, for instance, with any of the upcoming ones, I have no problem sitting out if I have to, because you also need new blood. I know a lot of us are loyal and we've been here with you for a long time, but you also need, you don't want to turn off the new people that want to come on and join and experience too. So I'd gladly, anytime if there's a spot, and say, hey, you know what, I want this spot, but you know what, there's somebody that's brand new that has never been on, I'd gladly give up my spot to let them,
And I have passed execs on to several people, one or two in one in Utah, a couple in Washington while I was up there. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean,
and I've actually invited other people to join.
I've seen. I have seen, because I do see who invite too. But I mean, quite honestly, I think, like, let me back up like a couple years. Like, never in a million fucking years did I think Billy Walker. I apologize for cussing now. Never in a million years did I think Billy Walker would be on a tasting that we started. Ever in a million years. Like, when I started the club, I thought, like, maybe we'd get 10 people here and there, and, like, we just get to drink and have fun and, like, talk, like, that was the whole point. Like, the people was the whole point. And, like, I mean, just look, like, if you guys, like, because I just kind of did this a couple days ago, I took a step back and I was like, look at all the tastings we've done this year. Like, we had George Grant on, like, started the year, and that dude was pouring like 2 ounce, like, Cairns. I was like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And then we had SCN, and then, like, I mean, just everything, like Brook Lottie. We had Simon Coughlin from Brook Lottie, and then we had Billy Walker today. And then not even mention that we had Freddie from Buffalo Trace. It was like, never in a million years, if you would have told me this would have been what it is right now, I was like, no way. I'm like, nah, that's probably not going to happen. But it's been a beautiful thing. That's why I say I love the whiskey community. I love all the, like, it's not about me or the club. It's just about all of us. And, like, it's been a killer journey, like, to me, just, I just keep pushing the envelope because I want to see, like, I wanted someone to say no and, like, what's not going to work, I couldn't get Jim McEwen. I tried. Like I did everything, and I mean everything. I offered him money. Like I was like, listen, I got $500 if you come on. Like I straight up tried to bribe him, and it just his handlers were like, no, it's not gonna happen.
Handlers,
And, well, you got to remember he's with he's doing his whole Dramful thing right now, and they're like they don't want him on other tastings. But Jim McEwen is making out okay right now. Like, don't
You
worry
think?
about that guy.
I was
He's retiring okay.
I was worried he was living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, he laughed. He laughed when
I feel like he
pretty
needs
sure
two more
laughed
zeros on
when I
there.
offered 500, but to me that's a lot of money to be on a
Yeah.
tasting, you know. But I mean that's the only one. Yeah, at least two more for sure. But that's the only one that we didn't get, though. You know, like in business, I've always been lucky because like I grew up broke, and like in business, I just ask for things and people say yes, and it's like, you know, the worst they're gonna say is no, so I'm okay with that.
It's your boyish good looks.
And it's because I can't grow that facial hair like you guys have, you know, so it's all good. But luckily, like nobody's really said no, and like that. But I think that's a beautiful thing about the whiskey community because they're so excited to share what they do and what they have, and like it's been a lot of fun. And like Billy was so open today. I was like, wow. I was like pretty surprised actually how honest he was about everything today. So, or it seemed honest, seemed sincere, you know. So we're gonna keep pushing the envelope, and we'll see what we can do next year. But
well, this is being recorded. Is this available later?
Oh shit. Normally I do not record my tastings. Let me see.
I know you didn't record it. Somebody recorded it.
Yeah,
It's
NWO, but all right.
Yeah.
Well, there's Myke Ames is gonna get it. Myke, fucking delete this shit. Do not put this online.
Cut it off.
Yeah, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Cut it off.
Hour and a half.
We're only talking about trying for the
Forget this
US,
whole
not
last
Canada. I think
45
we're
minutes.
okay.
Hey, wonderful time. You know, wonderful time.
Yeah, for sure. What's up,
No,
Rob?
wonderful time, you guys. Thank you once again. And you know,
yeah,
you guys.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are amazing, man. When I like to share drams, man, I definitely want to see all of you guys in person here from Execs, man. Nando, you know, thank you for having me, man. This has been wonderful. Thank you. You guys have been wonderful.
Absolutely. We'll cheers on that and call it a day. It's 3:00.
That's it.
I'm thoroughly not.
It's 3:00. It's 3:00. It's fucking late over here. Yeah.
I got a bunch of glasses to wash.
Yes,
Hey,
yes,
I love that. I'm gonna go look for some snacks, and Mike's probably gonna walk
before we
into
bounce,
dinner
I sent
right
you a
now,
Facebook
so,
friend request.
you know.
We'll talk about my specs order if you don't mind.
All right. Hey, cheers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know I haven't done it.
You ever tasted it?
Cool. All right. Cheers, everyone. Appreciate you. Thank you
Cheers.
for joining.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Thanks.
Cheers.
That was awesome.
All right.
Cheers.
Nice, Nando. Better.
We'll see you.